We are live back here for Real News Quarantine. We haven't been on here in a while, but there's been a lot going on in the news that we're just going to dive right into. What do you guys want to start with? There's been crazy shenanigans from YouTube drama to Biden getting Me Too to a new Intel, almost said AMD. AMD's on my mind now. A new Intel processor and all kinds of like we're starting to reopen. That's one thing I can actually say is we're starting to reopen. I think Wolf was announcing some reopenings are going to be happening soon. I think my area is going to be like May 13th or 8th or something. I know Delaware County is going to be the 25th. State College is going to be the 8th.
It's about fucking time. It's about fucking
Good,
time.
good stuff. Like I'm really worried that it has gone on this long. Like some of the stuff in there, it makes more sense to like people are probably gonna like beg to have free money again. Because when you give people a $1,200 stimulus plus $600 a month on top of their unemployment, like this could be several times what they were normally making before this, and that's what I'm scared of.
Hmm.
I think this might make some people want to see a like a Yang style of
Say Yang Gang for real this time.
yeah, because that's pretty much what we had. We didn't have it. Well, I mean, some of those people had $600 a week. Like,
Yeah.
and that's on top of whatever other unemployment they might be getting. So if you're only making like minimum wage, and you got that on top of a $1,200 stimulus, on top of not having to go and pay your federal student loans and federal mortgage, like there's just so much shit you were given for free, and that's going to have reverberating effects. And I think because of that, you might see something like a Yang sort of like more push for a Yang style of direct free money for people.
When do you think Penn State's going to have in-person classes in the fall?
If they reopen everything, I think they could.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they will.
It depends
I
how
don't.
this works.
I think it's not going to be like normal in-person classes. I think there's going to have to be, because it's hard to say, because on the one hand, let's take out the second wave factor. If there's going to be no second wave, then I'd say, yeah, we could be pretty much normal. People may just wear masks and maybe some social distancing, but it would be going back to normal. But the fact that there's going to be a second wave supposedly coming, maybe that doesn't happen, which would be nice, but all the experts are saying there's going to be a second wave. If there is a second wave, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, Barron says he's optimistic they're going to reopen and be back to normal. I don't know.
These experts have been sucking ass for a while now. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna I mean obviously mentally brace for something, but don't. I wouldn't expect it until I wouldn't believe shit until shit happens. That's kind of how I'm feeling.
Well,
I think it really depends on how this works out for the level 1 like yellow tier reopening. If that goes well, I think they could reopen without any issues. But if something happens and they start going back to red, then I think we're gonna have some bigger problems.
Well, I'm gonna predict right now that as we start to reopen, you're gonna see spikes in cases, and the thing is kind of what you're saying is like, how are people gonna react to that? Are we gonna go back? We're gonna scale things back, shut more things down. I mean, the good thing is this is happening at state level, so we can see how it's working, and everybody else can react, and hopefully be more proactive. But I'm not gonna lie. As much as it's gonna be depends how people behave. I'm afraid this is happening a little too soon. I don't know if people are gonna be wise about it. But what I think with colleges, especially Penn State, the big deciding factor really is football, because that's their big money maker.
Yeah.
And I think if they do have football in the fall, it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a packed stadium. I just think they're going to have to separate people, have some distance. No. I don't see a packed stadium happening.
No, okay, so with I think the smaller games will feel it, but the big games will still be big games. I just there's no way. It's too big of an environment. Too big of an environment. The tickets are too expensive. Like there's the culture is too big. Um, and I feel like by July, right within the next, which July would be what training
Mm-hmm.
camps and whatever.
I
Like
guess.
by July, one would assume that things are going to be in a better position.
But
Like
there's going to
even
be a
even if
second wave in the fall.
there is
I don't know if
even
there is.
we'll see. On one hand, it's like even like if there isn't, then
Then
the
fantastic.
talk is all for naught. But if not, it depends on what kind of second wave we're talking about because we are obviously we're a bit more prepared now than we were in the first like when this first wave happened. Like we were absolutely not. I don't think anybody saw this shit coming. No country in the world saw this coming the way that it did. And like now, I think we're a lot more prepared in that we have more reliable tests. We have, um, we have more supply. We have supplies. We have ventilators. We have like a lot. The hospital systems, there's better hospital systems in place. So I don't think that it's going, even if there is a spike, I don't think that it's going to affect us in the way that like it
Hmm.
would have in March
Yeah, I
or
don't think it'll be as bad, but what I do think is that we're not going to go back to any sort of relative normalcy to the world we lived in before this till there's a vaccine.
it
Once there's
depends.
I
It
don't know about
depends.
that because what about herd? We have herd immunity. That could be a factor
Yeah,
as
but they're
well.
already saying that your immunity gets lost within a couple weeks, and they've found people that have had it, and then a couple weeks later they get it again. The herd immunity thing doesn't. I don't believe in it.
Or I think it does. Well, they have a test that can see if you have
Yeah.
antibodies for it, and I think
Right.
some people might not be getting the anti. It's probably like the flu, in that sort of scenario too. And then another thing, just as a virus tends to get older and like it's spreading out, the way that works is it usually gets less severe over time.
Mhm.
Maybe, but I
Now
don't
that
know about this one.
no, that's true with any virus because if it kills people, the virus isn't going to be spreading as fast. So it creates this effect where it gets out there longer. It becomes a less deadly form. And I
Hmm.
think that could take effect. And then also, we actually have drugs now like hydrochloroquine. There's another one, and it's getting more and more accepted to start using these drugs. States are starting to allow it to be used. So I think that could also, and when you use these drugs, there's like what, like a 90, like people who are on the brink of death in many cases use these drugs and they ended up feeling better. So I think that could dramatically lower the impact of those who even have the virus. On top of the fact that we now have better, people are taught, like medical professionals, we have the infrastructure now to conduct better tracing
Mhm.
of who
Mhm.
has the virus. So I think even if like there's a resurgence, I don't think it's going to be as bad.
I don't think it'll be as bad, but I think it might shake. It's gonna shake things up, and it's again. I really don't know how people will react. 'Cause it really depends how bad it is, but I. The whole thing with school too is I was talking to my advertising professor about this, and he said from what he's feeling, there's two groups of parents forming right now. There are parents that are too scared to send their kids to school, and they just won't
Mhm.
send them. And then there are parents and kids alike that are just saying, even if it is online, I'm not even gonna bother. I want my full 4 years of Penn State experience on campus. I'm gonna take a gap year. I'm gonna take some time off. I think that could hurt. He was saying, we get like 10,000 undergrads. I think he said. He says that we'll probably only have 8,000 if we
Mhm.
did all online or online in person, partially in person, whatever. But if it was all online, he said, yeah, probably not gonna have as many kids. And I think you could theoretically have on-campus learning if you limit the class sizes, because that I think could could become a big issue if it's spreading, depending on how bad it is at that point. And if you just have these classes that have capacity or something, and one like maybe rotate, like because you could live stream the class, and then rotate, like one group of students watches the live stream one day, one group watches comes in class, or maybe people don't even want to come in class. I mean, so many people don't come to class anyways. So it could work out, but people are still going to have socials, fraternities, and there's all kinds of other stuff that are large gatherings. I mean, again, they can't not have a football season. That's the crazy part. They just can't not have it. They have to have it. But how do you do it in this environment? I think the only way is that they would limit capacity in the stadium, but they may not even do that. I don't know, but they will. The 3 phases are instructing them to fall. Even in the final phase, they still have to follow CDC guidelines. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, maybe they'll have people in the stadium just wear masks or something, which that would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be funny looking. I mean, you could have blue and white masks. It could work, but I think everybody would have to wear a mask in the fall semester. I don't see any other way not doing that.
That would be a problem too, because some people have breathing difficulties. Like
Yeah.
I've had friends who have breathing difficulties, and if you're paying for college, like they have to accommodate people with those issues.
Well, those people might have to do it online then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fall's a long way away. Who knows
It
what's
is.
going to happen from here to now? I've heard mixed things about that immunity stuff. I heard Sweden's going to go and try the herd immunity approach. We'll see how it works with them, I guess. But
yeah, and there's weird things I've heard about Sweden. It's like it just nothing's really adding up. That, to be honest with you, I don't even know what works and doesn't work there. But we'll see. But
another thing I saw was people who smoke were actually less likely to get symptoms of less likely to be infected by coronavirus.
what?
I saw that. I had multiple sources for that because they actually looked at that, and you would think.
But aren't they more likely to die?
No, because if you looked at in China, those who are infected with coronavirus, half the male population smokes, but only 21% of people infected with the coronavirus who are male were smokers.
You're believing China's numbers.
Even in the U.S. it was seen.
I don't buy that. I
have seen multiple sources. I'll pull some up.
Because most of the people that are dying have pre-existing conditions or some bad lung conditions.
I've seen reports where smoking was like people who smoke. It actually had a it actually had a reverse effect.
What?
Yeah, and then but vaping was still bad.
Well, here's
what's the difference?
Well, the problem is, and that's hold on, Alex. It's a bit deceptive because what you have, a lot of the times, and we've talked about this a couple of times too, but you have these these bullshit vaping company, people that sell bullshit vape, and then they're getting fucked up, and there's no there's no regulation on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's hard, so it's different, and it's difficult to keep an eye on that shit. I mean, I don't know, it's a tough thing, but
well, actually, one thing reminded me of when you mentioned China. There have been people. I keep hearing the story go back and forth on this. Initially, our government, other governments, and people in the media were saying, "Oh, the virus spread by somebody eating a bat." I never really bought that, and I'm not saying that in hindsight, but it always felt weird to me, enforced, that these wet markets have always been a thing, and just now there happens to be a virus spreading from it. Even though I still think the wet market should be shut down, completely. I think
what is that? Doctors in France? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There's a study.
Hey, that's Europe still.
Yeah. Sacre bleu.
Hold on, that's not the right one.
I smoke a cigarette in your restaurant while I make love to your wife.
I trust them more than China, but there's one from Breitbart.
I like
There's
how
one.
the headline says mind-boggling study. Smokers appear less likely to be hospitalized with COVID-19. Let's deep dive into this. Let's fact check this. I'll kind of trust Breitbart. But what I was saying was, then a bunch of intelligence officials and agencies were then saying it came from the Wuhan lab. And then they were kind of backtracking that. And now I think they're kind of going back on that again. Look, the intelligence agency is a totally uncredible source, but I think it is still credible to say it's highly possible it came from that fucking lab. It's too coincidental that there was a lab in Wuhan, it got shut down or whatever.
Well,
The doctors got in trouble there. People it leaked out of the lab. Like, I think it came from that lab without a doubt.
I mean, keep in mind, intelligence is a game of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of hide and seek as far as what they know or what they want people to know.
Yeah.
What they want people not to know. Like, it's a game. It's a 24/7 game. So, I mean, we just and it's like, and that's another reason why it's so hard to trust like big corporate news outlets like MSNBC and CNN, because they're playing the game too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So you really do, like, if you're trying to trust news, like you got to go with the independent. You got to go with independent journalists and stuff. So
it's tough with news, but I don't know. This is very interesting though.
But it's only measuring people in China. I'm not gonna believe any numbers from China.
There was one in what was it? It was in France, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have to see that one too.
I think I posted two ones. There's one from Breitbart and one from.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Let's check this shit out. Let's check the French.
But you would think you would see significantly more people who are with smoking, because one, they're probably more likely to be outside without a mask, and two, what they were saying is it would make your lungs bad, but you were not seeing those results. And there were people that are like testing using that, like, nicotine itself, the substance, was found to possibly have some effects.
Smoking may have a beneficial side effect that might actually help prevent a novel coronavirus infection altogether. That doesn't mean you should take up smoking, okay? But substance in cigarettes could prevent some people from the disease. Okay, this is already confusing. Smoking doesn't guarantee that you won't get a COVID-19. Why does this website keep moving? This is annoying. Won't get a COVID-19 infection, and smoking can make a COVID-19 infection worse for you. But French doctors observed that fewer COVID-19 patients were smokers than they were expecting. They observed 480 patients who tested positive, 350 of whom were hospitalized. Of those admitted, 4.4% were regular smokers, while 5.3% of people who were released had smoked. Median age was 65. Well, maybe... I don't know what to make of all this, honestly. It honestly sounds like, based on these studies, which I think this needs to be studied more when this is all said and done to get a better sense of things, but it sounds like smokers for some reason aren't getting it, but when they do get it, it's worse for them.
Well, hold on, let's see. While those with less symptoms, say seems to confirm the findings. I thought it said it was like they're less likely to get the heavy symptoms.
It says smoking can make a COVID-19 infection worse for you.
Well, it says it can. Well, yeah, it says it can. But it doesn't say that was seen over
And
there.
then the last paragraph kind of says what I just said. As with other COVID-19 studies, more research is required. And as with other studies detailing potential treatments for the coronavirus, you shouldn't take matters in your own hands. Yeah, don't drink bleach, guys. Do not start smoking using nicotine patch just because of theory. Who wrote this article?
Oh, we should talk about
the person.
Speaking of bleach.
Yeah. Okay, let's set the stage. Trump told people to drink bleach to stop the coronavirus infection. So somebody made their husband or whatever it was drink bleach, and it's because of Trump, right? Right?
People, it's because of MSNBC. And honestly, if you're stupid enough to drink bleach, you know,
Well,
they
it's
didn't even listen to it. They didn't even listen to what Trump said. They listened to what CNN and like BuzzFeed.
Wow. 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 Now, over the last couple of days, we found out that that lady is being investigated for murder. How about that?
It's almost like there's more to the story.
Like, yeah, no, because as well, when the story came out, it was like, oh, the like MSNBC and CNN, they were jumping on the fuck Trump bandwagon, and they were like, oh, this is misinformation that Trump is giving out, and people are dying because of it. And then come to find out that like they originally said that this was a Trump supporter, and they believed that what Trump said, and then so they drank the fish tank cleaner, and then so
And it was a woman, so believe all women.
yeah,
She couldn't be lying here.
So come to find out, as we moved on in life, we found out that the woman was not a Trump supporter. In fact, she donated to Democratic candidates and was a Trump basher, and also was having marital issues with her husband.
Apparently she's not very nice, is what I've heard.
Yeah.
To put it mildly.
And so you add all that together, and we have a situation where it looks like she's being investigated for murder, and I gotta say, it sounds like it makes sense. Like,
yeah, that's what I think exactly happened. She just used it as a blame.
There's a history of domestic abuse there. There's like some weird, like, look, she's kind of nuts. Okay, she's like, let's yeah, I think she might be guilty.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Total BS. Speaking of women, I want to hit two women-y, I guess, topics. Number one, have you guys seen our new beautiful, Christian, sharp, smart press secretary?
No, I didn't.
Kayleigh McEnany is fantastic. If anybody hasn't seen her press conferences, what was that?
She is hot too.
She's beautiful on camera. I'm just saying. Well, I don't know what it is about Republican women, but they are just hotter. And she was always sort of like one of Trump's like spokespeople in the media, I guess you could say. Like, she would come on CNN, defend Trump, come on all these shows and defend Trump, and she kind of worked her way up, and she was heavily involved with the campaign, doing a lot of things. But she got her press secretary gig. When I heard that, I mean, we mentioned it on this show, I think, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. I was pretty optimistic, but she delivered perfectly. It was a perfect press conference, perfectly done. I mean, she was smart, sharp, using technology. She was using the TV there, which I really liked. Because she was the one, I think, that was behind that video that Trump played in front of the media, exposing him for all their lies about coronavirus and all their false predictions. It made them all squirm when he played that. So she's totally upgraded the press and communication game at the White House. It's fantastic, and they hate it. They absolutely hate her. You can tell they just can't stand her. And she stood up for our boy Michael Flynn. Oh, that's something we can talk about too. Michael Flynn did nothing wrong. He did absolutely nothing wrong. The FBI set him up, framed him, got him fired deliberately. Because new documents came out where they literally talked about, oh, should we be nice to him, or should we get him to lie and get him fired? They literally said something almost like basically along those words. It's pretty astonishing. Like, I even initially thought Flynn screwed up, and then I saw that and I realized, nope, he didn't screw up one bit. He was totally framed. He did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah. Is he getting a new trial, or what's going on with that?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I do know Roger Stone. There's another update on all this. Roger Stone is going to get a new. He's filed. I think he's appealing his
Hmm.
case. Hopefully, he has enough money and can act and get through. But I hope Trump pardons both these people at some point. Like it needs to happen. Um, I don't think Flynn has done anything yet, but Trump has been coming to his defense and Stone's defense too. So we'll see. I mean, it's pretty damning what's in those documents. It's damning. The FBI is beyond corrupt.
Hmm. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, this was the this was the establishment FBI. They were doing the bidding of you know establishment Democrats. This
Mm-hmm.
is uh this is what they were doing. Like this, it's good. I mean,
Well, it's
this is
always
what happens.
interest.
Look, this is what happens when you put somebody like Obama in office. They're gonna put judges in. They're gonna ruin the law, our law, and they're gonna put in they're gonna put in FBI personnel that are gonna ruin your liberties. They're gonna ruin your rights. So just keep that in mind whenever you decide to want to put another Democrat in office.
Well, I'm curious, and nobody's asking this question, at least not yet. Why did they go out of their way to target Flynn like this? I mean, there are so many other people around Trump, but they specifically went for Flynn, and they specifically, you know, said that, oh, should we frame this guy? Should we make him lie? The, I don't know. I know he had some sort of conflicts and sort of disagreements with the CIA when he was, I forget what he was in the Obama administration, but he had some tense relations with the CIA, and it sounds like Obama too. So maybe this was a way of getting back at him and screwing Trump, and a double whammy. But it that's what I want to really know is why did they specifically go after Flynn?
I mean, well, you know why?
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking it.
No, Trump.
Yeah,
It's
but why
exactly what.
not? Well, but there's so many other people in his circles. Why didn't they go after all these other people?
Mm. No, because he was the Security Council. If I could nail your Security Council, that's probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest fish, because like the Security Council is really important to a campaign and to an administration. Like if I could take that out, I could like that could be a domino effect if I play my cards right. It's just that, of course, the Democrats are shit and they don't know how to play their cards. But that's another story.
Well, that was the one thing I was kind of thinking was that because of Trump's very aggressive anti-intervention foreign policy and his America First foreign policy, that maybe that was very troublesome to the elites and they want to keep that out. But I don't know. To me, I don't think it's so simple. I think there's more. There's something we don't know, or that's something that's not being connected yet. Because there's so many other people around Trump that I'm shocked didn't get this much. I mean, Roger Stone makes sense because he's a political operative, very influential guy. But they didn't go after Steve Bannon like this. They didn't go after. Trying to think of some of the other people on the original Trump team, like some of his economic people maybe. What's that guy's name? Mnuchin. There were so many other people they just didn't go after this aggressively, and I.
But it's not. But it's because he's a Security Council. He's going to be the main guy handling you know, a lot of the classified important shit. Like there's a lot that goes into what someone in Michael Flynn's position did. Like this was a strategic move. This was
Mm,
a strategic move by the de- for by the F well the Democratic controlled FBI. Like
yeah.
they knew exactly what they were doing.
Hmm. I guess. I mean, I don't know much about the position really or what it really entails, but that makes sense. Um, Shoot, there's something else I was thinking of during. Oh, women. What do we think about Tara Reid? Do we think she's lying? Do we think she's Joe Me Too'd her? What do we think?
I think
I,
that
I, I
in
wouldn't
her,
know. I
I,
wouldn't know because we're not. She's not getting the same treatment that Christine Blasey Ford had. So
But
I
believe
think
all
jury's still
women.
out.
Believe all women. We need to believe
Right.
her without question of a doubt.
I think she's much more credible than Blasey Ford, and I feel that what is being done to her is hypocritical from the Democrats who were trying to like I don't even see where their argument is because this stuff has been documented since the 90s. The Blasey Ford stuff literally came up as soon as Kavanaugh was running. So you can't even really compare the two of those. Like she is incredibly more credible than Blasey Ford, but
Hmm.
on the one hand I agree that we should go and fight fire with fire and we should go and hold the Democrats to their own standards. On the other hand, I think it still needs to get played out. I'd like to go and see Biden get the same exact treatment as Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Chevy Kavanaugh style trial.
Yeah, I agree, and I really don't see where people are getting off saying that this is somehow less credible than what Blasey Ford was saying when there's been substantial like some substantial evidence that she probably like that this came up years and years beforehand. Like this wasn't just something that someone remembered out of the blue. This is something that has been going on for years, and people just haven't been paying attention. And when you go and look at Biden, like his creepy behavior, it would not surprise me one bit if he was involved with some inappropriate conduct. Like just look at the stuff he's been doing with pictures, grabbing people, touching people. You know, I think he deserves to be investigated, and I think he should be given the same, if not harsher, treatment than what Kavanaugh has gotten. I think Republicans need to start hitting that hard. There is a double standard in America, and the Republicans need to go and learn that when the shoe's on the other foot and they treat you like shit, you need to go and treat them just as bad, if not harder.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's it's a shame that it has to get to this point because it's like we're dealing with like important issues and they're obviously being politicized. But I mean, look, they made the, look with Christine Blasey Ford, they made the standard, right? The Democrats made this standard where they were like, believe all women, do all that stuff. I mean, I didn't agree with that, but hey, if you're gonna do it with one person, you gotta do it with everybody. Like you like this is what this is why you're losing people like Rose McGowan, right?
Oh
You
yeah, that
know,
was interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that's what you got. You know, there's no way people are gonna take it. Like I do think it's funny though that you got Samantha Bee who years ago while she was on the Daily Show made fun of Joe Biden for his creepy behavior
Oh shit.
and now she's sticking up for him. I think that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice of her.
Tells you
These
she
people
doesn't
don't
care.
these people don't have any morals. They do not have any objective truth. This is all based on their own political goals by any means necessary. I've seen people make tweets saying if Joe Biden ass raped me, I would vote for him because fuck Donald Trump. Like these people,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to go and sound politically correct and right, but when it comes down to it, they don't give a shit. They don't care if they're electing a rapist. They already elected Bill Clinton. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously they don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about morals. They'll say that Trump's the most the least presidential person. They don't care. These people do not care as long as they get a Democrat elected. They will vote for anybody, which leads me to kind of wonder if maybe this will be the death knell for the Me Too movement. I
Yeah.
think I think this could definitely harm that movement as a whole. I've seen some people actually, like even some I guess more moderate Democrats are actually questioning
Mm-hmm.
this sort of behavior, and that's interesting. Like the best thing in the world is when the left fights the left, because when they get into these hypocritical sort of battles, the moderates are the ones who see what's going on here. And same thing with the Republicans, like that happens too. But the
Mm-hmm.
left lot more because the Republicans are too afraid to fight hard
Yeah.
in the majority of cases. And the Democrats, they will fight tooth and nail, and they will use the most dirtiest tactics imaginable. And only recently have Republicans started to go and learn by their playbook and start to hit below the belt after they've been hit below the belt so many times their balls are made of steel.
Yeah. It's like I'll say this. Like, is it me, or I'll ask this: is it me, or do I feel does all this put into perspective that Trump might be the best thing to happen to the Republican Party maybe in decades?
Oh, he absolutely is.
Because look, over for God knows how long, I've viewed the Republican Party as a bunch of pansies, as a bunch of, like, people who didn't fight. They just kind of did nothing, like, just kind of took it on the chin and just gave their lunch away, like and they would watch the Democrats come in, eat their lunch, and walk the hell out. Like with Trump, he's fighting back, and because of that, other people are fighting back, and the snowball effect is happening, and we need to continue this trend. Like, we need
Mm-hmm.
you got to fight. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to stand up for your people. You got to stand up for your beliefs, like, because if the other side had a chance to completely shut you down, they would do it in a heartbeat. Like, and this is how you have to live.
I want to tie back in the Rose McGowan things. It's actually, there's more to it that I just found. So what she did say, basically, for anybody that hasn't seen it, she basically said she's not a Democrat anymore. Uh, because obviously Rose McDonald's a big feminist Democrat, and she's now saying she's no longer a quote proud Democrat because the Democrats are downplaying the sexual assault allegations that Tara Reade's made against Biden. And now Westworld star Evan Rachel Wood is backing her up, both for notorious feminists. And one thing I think that's interesting about this is you're now seeing, again, more infighting in the Democratic Party, but you're seeing that these people are feminists first, Democrats second. They are not, that they are hard. These feminists are hardcore. This is the core of their ideology. And on top of that, I've been looking more into the Tara Reade thing because she had two additional people, I think, backing her. I'm trying to find this. Two more people that, like, corroborate her story and said, like, yeah, she told us about it. One of them was in 2008, and I think one of them was in, I forget when it was, but there's two more people corroborating that she told them, hey, this happened. Biden did this to me. We're going to have to dig more into that as more stuff comes out. But she was supposed to be on Fox News Sunday. She canceled. And she said she was getting death threats and disturbing voicemails and all that. And I initially was kind of like, I don't know if I believe that. But according to Fox News, they received two of the voice messages. And one of the callers left a voicemail, I guess, to Tara Reade. And they said, quote, "Hi, Mrs. Reade. This is Dave Johnson from The Observer, a small New York magazine." And then it says, the voice says before laughing uncontrollably, later saying, quote, "Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, Trump 2020. So you're getting somebody posing as a journalist, trolling her, and, you're getting all kinds of stuff like this. It's, I guess it's overwhelming her, and she doesn't want to come into the public spotlight because she's just going to get more of this. I tend to believe her now. And she's told people about this story of what Biden did to her. I think the story is basically that, like, she was up against a wall and Biden, put his hand down her pants or something and touched her, what. I think that's the story, or he did outside her pants, but I think he touched her down there. And then other people said he would make inappropriate comments about the way she looks and her legs and other stuff.
That's not surprising me at all.
That's not. You could look on YouTube. You could look it up on YouTube, and you can see that shit happening with other people.
Yeah.
That is not exactly unique behavior
What
for
I
Mr.
pissed off
Biden.
is that we don't have more good Republican propaganda artists these days.
Yeah.
Because you could, like, honestly, you could easily make like a short, like 1 minute, like fucking propaganda video just showing all the shit that the Democrats do. Like, it's
Well,
so easy these days. You just make a fucking slideshow, just like show like all the fucking shit, like put to a catchy tune.
A catchy
I
tune.
mean,
Yeah, like you ever see that one I showed you where it was like making fun of that dude from who like
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, 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 yeah.
guy from Carly and like all this
Well,
other.
so that's what the meme army is, our meme team out there on the internet that Facebook and Twitter and Reddit are all silencing and shutting down. That was what they did in 2016, and they did it
When you
beautifully.
bring that shit back, go onto the chans, go send to like fucking boomers fucking email chains to boomers. I think that like I saw an ad on Facebook
the
about
left can't. Then the left can't meme at all. Like it is. Some
They
of
don't
those
have any
memes
meme
are just.
game.
They're just fucking terrible. Like it's awful. Like yeah, I mean that inspired me to make a couple memes
Oh,
today.
those were
So
good, by the way.
oh yeah, thank you.
let's start making those on this fucking
Yeah,
channel.
yeah. I should.
I mean
I think did I retweet them? I think I just liked them. I should
yeah
retweet them.
yeah you like. I mean it's whatever. I mean but it's like
Quality fucking original content. We need to start making that right every year. Some fucking macros. What are we fighting
yeah,
for? Mind the people. Show them how much of a dirtbag Biden is. Show them how great Trump is.
Yeah,
People, they don't see this anymore. If we can do that, I think we'll be doing our service to our country, to Donald Trump, to the real Republicans, not the fucking cucks
yep.
and the fake conservatives that have been in the fucking party and caused it to lose. Because
yeah we ran into some fake conservatives that can't fucking meme either.
Oh yeah.
what has the Republican Party done, like before Trump? What has the Republican Party really stood for? Like from Reagan to now, it's like
And war.
lower taxes, war, and slowly giving ground.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like they believe they have their set of beliefs, but they're really not willing. They really weren't willing to fight for them. Like they were willing to let the Democrats walk basically all over them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it took Trump. It literally took Trump coming in and standing up for them, right?
Well, that's what's so important about Trump is not just his presidency, but his influence. He is inspiring so many more conservatives with balls, young conservatives with balls to get into the game and actually make a difference. Look at Laura Loomer. She was a social media sensation. Now she's running for Congress and has a good shot of getting in. Mindy Robinson's another one, just got endorsed by Roger Stone. A pro-Trump, America First Patriot, has a chance of getting in Congress too. Will they all make it? No, but I've never seen this before. We have never seen people who are just social media stars running for Congress, actually getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations, and getting national media attention. Laura Loomer was just in the New York Post. I mean, the Trump revolution is a generational shift for the Republican Party. And look, as you were just saying, like we've dealt with these cucks. They can't meme. These cucky establishment Republicans, and they are just the worst. And they need to go. But they're not going to give up their power, and they're not going to give up their position easily, as we've seen. They do some downright awful stuff that none of us could even conceive of doing. But those people are what's in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't have the balls to fight. They don't stand for anything other than to benefit themselves. Like that's a lot of these country club conservatives. That's the only reason they vote Republicans, because they'll save them money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they don't have a fucking soul. Some of them. A lot.
This fight that we do, it's a culture war. It is really a culture war, because like we aren't so much in it for ourselves. Like none of us are,
And none of us want to get into politics as in the government.
Yeah, we weren't poli-sci majors. We have no interest in being in politics. We're not doing this. We're doing this for y'all. Like we're doing this for y'all. Because like I mean, look at on the on the campus. Like how many college kids? Yeah, are you telling me like in a main campus with like 40 plus thousand kids, you're telling me that there's only what 100 conservatives on that campus? I no
How
no.
many actually show up to the fucking Contra Pelican meetings? Like 20.
Yeah,
And
yeah
it's not true conservatives. It's
yeah.
establishment conservatives.
Yeah,
They
half
need
are fucking Democrats in disguise.
they need some like these people are looking for a place, right? These conservatives are looking for a place where they can go and they know that they can at least be defended. Like, because you're risking a lot, right? These conservatives risk a lot going to these meetings, right? Yeah,
You could
you're
get
being
doxxed.
ousted as a Republic. You're being ousted as a Republican, and you're getting every label that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
They're falsely accusing you as a racist, sexist, homophobe, all that. You know that there's we have to protect that. I would say we have to stand up for them too. Like we got to stand up for ourselves, but we got to stand up for them too,
Yeah.
because that is how we grow this thing. That's how we make it. You know, that's how we make an impact. And unfortunately we have a whole bunch of people that are in this for themselves. This is that this is the culture war. We got people that are in it for themselves versus the people that are really in it for everybody else. And this is part why I love Trump so much. He's not. I really I don't believe that he's in this thing for himself at all. Like
Yeah.
he's a he's a fucking billionaire. Like he didn't have to do this shit. He didn't have to do this presidency thing. He's taking no money. Like he's donated all of his money. In fact, he's made donations. He's probably coming out of this thing with way less money than when he walked in. Like there's good purpose, and it's showing in his pocketbook, right? And that's where that's kind of what continues to draw me to Trump. I'm like, look, I just don't believe that he's in this for himself, because if he was, I mean, he wouldn't be doing this shit. Like if he was really selfish and in this thing for himself, he wouldn't have even been in this fucking job to begin with. So
Yep. Yeah, and the thing too is, actually, I'll just talk about so I can close these articles down. I want to clarify the thing about Tara Reade. 2 more people, according to the AP, corroborate her allegations. That brings it to a total of 4 people that have said that she has talked to them about sexual harassment or sexual assault from Biden. And one of the claims she's making is that, quote, I remember talking about him wanting me to serve drinks because he liked my legs, he being Biden, and thought I was pretty and made me uncomfortable. I know that I was too scared to write about the sexual assault. And then there's the other one. I'm trying to find if it says in this article about how Biden touched her. That's a really bad one. But because I want to wrap something, I'm going to go back to what you were saying, Phil, because that is important. But if anybody hasn't checked it out yet, Mika Brzezinski from Morning Joe did a interview with Biden. It was the first one since the allegations came out recently, and you would think it's Morning Joe, anti-Trump Morning Joe. They're gonna softball Biden. They're gonna give him a pass, but Mika did the interview, which is a smart play, having Mika, a woman, do the interview.
mm-hmm.
She, who I normally can't stand her, she did a stellar job with that interview. It was tough, and she kept pushing and pushing. Biden was good for the first few minutes. I'll admit, he was good. But after that, oh my God, he was a disaster. He got angry and sort of snippy and snappy, and he had some really, like when they brought up the University of Delaware stuff, he like laughed, which is really weird. And
University of Delaware. That's
okay, he spent some time in the University of Delaware. I forget what exactly, but there are archived records there of his time at the University of Delaware. Apparently, it's like 1,800 boxes or 1,800 files. They said 1,800 something. There's Senate files that he is going to be unsealed, but when they brought up the University of Delaware stuff, Mika was asking, so why can't you let a team of investigators look through those files and look for Tara Reade's name? And he kept saying like, well, that's not necessary. I don't, he was kind of like shifting it. And he didn't want to. He basically, it's the vibe I was getting, and you have to rewatch it. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he didn't want people looking in those files. So I don't know what's really in there. It might even not be related to the sexual assault stuff, but I have a good feeling that there's the key to this whole thing is probably in those University of Delaware files. But the thing is also that he in that interview, I knows he was very rehearsed in the beginning. You could tell they knew how he'd already rehearsed lines to deny this, but just from a persuasion communication perspective, how he totally failed this was he never pivoted. He kept on this issue. When Trump did his apology video for when the Access Hollywood tapes came out, the whole infamous ground by the pussy comments, Trump was so smart in his video, where most of his video is not even talking about that. He apologizes for it, says what he needs to say, and then pivots to, I've been going around the country, I've been talking to people, we need to get back to bringing jobs back, controlling borders, etc., etc., etc. And then he goes on the attack. He attacks Hillary and Bill Clinton for abusing women, for Hillary defending Bill and abusing all these women that accuse Bill and harassing them. That's how you do it. Biden never did that. He could have spun it as, you know what? I did nothing wrong, yada, yada, yada. But remember who's running against me? Donald Trump. Donald Trump has bragged about groping women, da, 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 da. Obviously, I don't believe that, but that's a Democrat talking point. He could have done that. He never did that. It was a total disaster.
Yeah, he's not really surprised. I think his mental capacity for quick, snippy thinking has deteriorated. Like, honestly, I think he's somewhere along the, like, what you call it, like dementia train. Like, Trump's on the Trump train to fucking success. Bill Clinton, he's on the train to the old folks' home. He really should not be running right now. Like, I don't know why in the world they would allow him to win. There's a reason when the person he was running with, Obama, did not endorse him until he already pretty much had in the sack anyways.
Yeah.
That's telling you something.
I'm not sure they have much of a choice now, though.
I know.
I think they're screwed. Because it's like we're already in the primaries. Like, we're already in the primaries, and everybody else has dropped out. It's like they're stuck with them. Like, the only other alternative I could see would be if, like, Joe Biden were to drop out or whatever, or just then what happens?
And he won't drop out. Like, you said, they're stuck with him. He's got all these big endorsements, all the big money behind him. That's why they're gonna.
Honestly, I like seeing it because he's staying and he's taking down every other fucker with him. I love it. I love it.
Also,
do you think the Democrat establishment will allow that to happen, though?
Allow what?
Now, here's a conspiracy theory.
Ooh.
What if the Democrats, they see what's going on here? The only way they could realistically change the candidate would be if Joe Biden, he's put out of the picture, so to speak.
They can't. How would they do it?
If he gets Epstein treatment.
Oh.
Oh, we're going real
conspiratorial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Something like that. If they know that there's no way he could win again, like if, let's say they find out there's some stuff in those documents. If they know, they might go to do something like that.
Well, who got the second most votes? Bernie. Do you really want to give it to Bernie now? And if you don't give it to Bernie, oh my God.
What they'll do, I think what they'll do is they would probably, if they were going to do it, they would have to give him the nomination. They give Biden the nomination, and then Biden steps down. And then then Biden steps down, and like his VP would.
It's all about the VP, which is Kamala Harris.
Did she actually accept it?
Well, no, but that's who it's going to be.
Could be Hillary.
I don't think that would ever happen. If that ever happened, that'd be, first of all, it'd be hilarious, but
Michelle Obama.
Michelle would be interesting. That would be an interesting play. That would be an unexpected, but because she's a universally beloved figure in the Democratic Party, maybe the only one. You know, if they put her up, that'd be interesting. They would never do Hillary. You would never nominate a loser for vice president.
Well, they nominated her for president after she ran unsuccessfully a few times beforehand.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd go for Hillary. I think they would go for Kamala or possibly, I think maybe even Michelle. Like, that would probably be interesting because Kamala has a lot of skeletons in her closets. Michelle, she really wasn't involved in politics too much.
She's clean.
But everyone knows the Obama name, and everyone
Yeah.
and like pretty universally loved. I think that's what could happen. Like I could see this happening as maybe Biden contracts coronavirus and mysteriously because that would be an easy way. There wouldn't be a lot like no one would be like because it could happen realistically, and maybe he passes away due to complications, and maybe years later we'll find him on some island in the Pacific.
He's just chilling.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he goes to a retirement home. I don't know. The Democrats are scummy people. I wouldn't be surprised. But if they could get rid of Biden, if he ends up passing away from coronavirus, or maybe someone, they shoot him with an assault rifle, and then they can go and use that as a push for gun control.
Yeah. It's a double whammy.
I think coronavirus, though, would probably be the most realistic one.
I don't think it would happen either way because you would have such a messy convention. It would be total chaos. Nobody would be happy. They would guarantee a Trump victory no matter who they put up, unless it's Michelle. But even,
I think what would happen, those people would feel bad for, they'd be like, oh, well, that's not fair if Trump just gets to go unopposed. They should go and do something. So at least they would try to, it would muddy the waters. It would be like at that one debate when they decided to go and have the other debater leave at the last second. It would be one of those sort of dirty tactics where you couldn't really call them out on. And because you can't predict that someone's going to die of coronavirus or, pass away in mysterious, whatever manner they want to go and have him pass away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, if it gets, I don't think they do it right now, but I think if it looks so bad, like if it's clear to them that he has no chance against Trump, the deep Democrat state would probably try something, and they would go for a woman, and it would either be Kamala or it would be Michelle Obama.
Kamala. Yeah.
There's been stranger things. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that were to happen. And I mean, with the coronavirus, man, wanting he could just pass away from that anyways. I mean, we've had other leaders from other countries pass away from coronavirus.
Well, that's okay. I want to bring that up actually. More fake news from CNN that Kim Jong-un is now officially not dead. I guess there have been pictures sent out showing him alive. I would like to see some video first, but I don't think he's dead at all. I think it's just fake news from CNN.
I don't know. You can't really trust anything you get from North Korea.
You can't.
It's so filled with propaganda. It's complete BS. He could have died. He could have not have died. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows. I mean, maybe a coup's going to happen soon. I wouldn't be surprised. I think they want the sister to run, I guess, for reasons.
Yeah, she's definitely the next in line.
But I don't, no matter who you're going to get, I don't care if it's a woman, I don't care if it's a man, I don't care if it's a fucking unit. If they have anyone from North Korea running, they're going to keep doing the same shit year after year.
Mm-hmm.
The way anything can really happen with North Korea is if we can get China to stop supporting them. And
right.
You know what? Maybe now, with all this coronavirus shit, something could happen. With everyone eyeing up China, maybe some concessions will be made. Because if China stops defending them, they don't really have any other ally.
That's true. But China doesn't want their people coming into their country. But then again, they probably have some more room now thanks to their corona death count.
What? Their corona death count is super low. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. It was just, I must have been reading fake news. There's no way. They have the lowest numbers. They handled it beautifully. That's what the WHO told me.
We could totally trust China and their totally honest information. Very, very honest.
Very authentic.
Very authentic, very forthcoming.
Freaking China, man. That's why I believe the lab theory. But I want to turn the gears back, though, to when we were talking about establishment Republicans, how frustrating it is dealing with those people. I will mention something that happened in our circles. In the college Republicans group, I started talking about Alex Jones, and holy shit, did the cucks get triggered, man. And people that even weren't cucky necessarily, that were just sort of your normal CR members, whatever that even means, were absolutely silent during the whole thing. Wasn't that weird? And even one of them, one of their ex board members who left in disgrace, he admitted that because when I was at CPAC, a little context to it, when we were at CPAC, I saw Owen Schroyer from InfoWars about to interview somebody. I think maybe Alex was around at the time. I don't know. But it was definitely on the same day that both of them came into CPAC. This cuck from college Republicans, this hack, came up to Owen and, like, behind his back said, "Fuck InfoWars," in this, like, nasty tone. And then kept walking. I don't even know if Owen even heard it. But I thought, geez, like, what's your problem, dude? I mean, the InfoWars crew has been the nicest, most fun people at CPAC by far. They were super cool. They were like family. It was great. I mean, my respect for them just went up tremendously. Regardless of what you think of them, they're just nice people. And I mentioned this in the group me, and this person had left the group me, but then they came back after one of their buddies told them what I said, and they just started going on a rant against me. Like, oh, Alex Jones is so awful. He endangers people. Yeah, it was like crazy. And I was asking, like, okay, what Alex Jones say? Is that protected under the First Amendment? They said yes. And I said, well, do you think then that big tech was right to ban them? Kind of dodged the question because he did the whole, well, they're private companies. They could do whatever they want. I'm like, come on, dude. You're dodging me. Give me a straight up answer. So, and then he finally said if he was in charge of these big tech companies, he would have banned Alex Jones. A conservative said this, a quote unquote conservative, or should I say Marco Rubio's supporter.
The fucking party. They need to fucking go.
Yep.
We need to have a fucking purge of the Republican Party with these sorts of people because, tell them to go and vote fucking independent. I don't care. If you have no balls, you have no right to be in the Republican Party.
Well, I've heard he's a frequent flyer at the college independence meetings.
Oh, I bet. Spineless piece of shit. Perfect. Perfect can't make up his fucking mind.
Yeah. He was a Marco Rubio supporter. I know that for certain.
This is what we're trying to get rid of. This is what we're trying to get rid of, people. Like, we're trying to get rid of these spineless people. Because this is not... We're not going to get shit done with these fucking people. We got to get rid of them. If we really want to do what we're trying to do, just get rid of them.
What we should go do is like make maybe this, like that organization, like have it have a college Republican watch where we'll go and find the CR groups that are like full of cucks and just name and shame them.
Yes.
Like the reported teacher, but for like CR.
The professor watch list, but it's like the cuck watch list.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because they need to have some like show them who the fuck is doing all this, because that's not right. Well, and I know these people. I've known them for fucking years. They're pieces of shit. They have no spine. They are the country club Republicans. And they should just go and stay in their fucking country clubs because all they do is start drama and drive people out. They don't actually put any work to do anything. Like, I've never seen them actually like campaigning for people that aren't Democrats. Like, I've seen them more help Democrats than Republicans.
And I know this person didn't vote for Trump. I think he even admitted he wrote in Paul Ryan in 2016. He wrote in Paul Ryan.
like honestly, if I was in charge of Republicans and I heard that you did something like that, I would. I mean, I won't kick anyone out, but I would definitely like not do whatever I can to go and like make you feel uncomfortable there.
Hold them accountable. That's what it
Right.
is to me. You hold them to their word, and you tell them like, dude, Trump was our nominee. Why the fuck didn't you vote for him?
Yeah, he wants the Democrats to win. That's the thing that pisses me off with like these independents and like some members of the fucking of the what's that, the libertarians. They'll
Oh,
go these bullshit candidates who will never in 1,000 years get more than like 10%, and all it does is fuck over Republicans.
yep.
That's all it does. No
And
point to it. It's just virtue signaling.
they don't learn. Okay. Now you're gonna get me on my rant. Okay, Justin Amash, who I hate. He's one of the few people I genuinely hate in Congress. This is a guy that started off saying, I think Trump should be impeached. He's a bad guy. He broke the Constitution. And then he goes and he switches parties. Well, first, he got heckled the shit out of at his town hall. His district hates him after that. He switches to independent, runs over to CNN to do an interview about how the Republican Party has changed. It's not the same. They don't care about liberty, and I do, because I'm Justin Amash. I'm so smart. I mean, look at me. I'm just the true conservative here. I'm the true libertarian. I defend our freedoms and Constitution. So
Yep.
much so that I'm gonna become an independent, kiss ass on CNN and other Democrats. And so he's making the rounds, and the Democrats love him. Okay, I got into an argument about this with somebody on Facebook, and they were like, "Oh, what are you talking about? CNN, the Democrats don't love him." Yes, they do. It's just like when the right loves when somebody leaves the left and they make the rounds, and you're like, "Oh, you left the left. That's so amazing," and you prop them up.
They liked Mitt Romney, right? When
They
he did the
loved
whole
him.
fucking when he voted for the impeachment investigation or whatever, or the impeachment charges or whatever. They liked Richard Spencer when he was talking about Donald Trump, right? I'm
Well,
like,
that is because he makes Republicans look bad. You know,
yeah, that's it.
what hurts you. They are your enemy. CNN, like if
Yeah.
I ever got to that position in my life where I was like influential enough and had the opportunity to be like talked to by like interviewed by CNN, I would do any like unless I was like Trump level where you kind of have to go and or like an actual elected official. Like unless I was at that level, I'd tell them to suck a cock.
Yep.
You know, interview someone else. I don't play into your fake news. I'd avoid them like people on the left avoid InfoWars.
That's what I was telling
I
my.
think libertarians are a bunch of fantasy writers anyway. I just don't think. I feel like
They need
like
to
they're
grow
not.
up. They need to
Yeah,
grow
they're
up.
like these are these are just like fucking weirdos that like bury gold in their backyard or some shit because they're like
If we had a system in the United States that was like Europe and stuff where they don't have first past the post and you could actually, coalition and stuff. Okay, I would actually probably hold, these independent like these fucking libertarians in a lot higher regard. But the current truth of the matter is a winner take all, loser take none situation.
Mm-hmm.
Every vote that is not for Republican
Is
is a vote
against.
the Republican. And honestly, I do wish that we would go and like change the election system, but it ain't happening right now. Who is going to vote for that in Congress? Nobody, because that's how they get elected. But honestly, I think like that would be very interesting if we lived in there, because I imagine the Democratic Party wouldn't exist at that
yeah.
point.
Well, I
The
mean,
Republican Party probably wouldn't, but the Democrats definitely wouldn't, because you just have them splinter off into their own like special fucking groups. Because you think like the women, the feminist party would want anything to do with like the Sharia compliant party? No,
So
no,
we
you.
have the best I'm sorry, we have the best election system in the world.
yeah,
We
I
do.
agree.
Look, it's about as good as it's gonna get, and especially like I don't. I'm sorry, I don't trust whoever decides they want to change the fucking system. I don't trust them.
I
I don't
think
trust. Yeah,
I think there's benefits in some of these other systems that they
Yeah, I
have
mean, there's pros and cons.
because
I like. I mean, this is about as good as it's gonna get. Like you're not gonna get better. Realistically, you're not getting better. I mean, are
Mm-hmm.
there good ideas out there? Sure, but are they good enough to be actually put into fruition? Fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many greedy. No, there's too. It's just like capitalism, right? It's like on paper, socialism seems like a good idea until you actually open your eyes and act like a fucking grown up, right? Then you realize, oh wow, there's actual like there's actually greedy fucking people that live in this world,
What?
and the only way and look and capitalism forces people it forces people to be in a competitive nature as it is supposed to be. Like that is how that's how you make it. That's how you make an economy work. You don't like this Marxist communist bullshit. It's not gonna fucking fly because you need business to succeed
well, no, I'm not
anywhere.
saying communism or Marxism or anything.
Right.
We have a system other than first past the post.
Right, but I'm saying, but what I'm saying is like the fact of look, we have electorals, we have, um, we give the small like we give, you know, the rural areas a vote, but important votes too. Like they have a say in our elections
Wouldn't
process.
wouldn't do anything with that.
Uh,
I would like a system where we would be able to go and realistically have like 10 different parties, and then you would be able to go in coalition with them like other countries do. That way, the cucks can have their own party, and then we can choose to or to not coalition with them, and effectively drive them out without like.
But here's the thing, like that would be ideal, but the thing you gotta do is not work against the system, work within the system. And that's what Trump did, and he won.
No, I mean, right now, I don't think it's gonna change, but I think at some point in the future, something might happen.
No,
Like,
it's not gonna change.
I don't know
It's
about.
been around 200 years, ain't changing. The thing is, I want to get back to Mr. Amash. Like this is tying into what we just said. This is what my libertarian I post. Oh, actually, let me go back and complete the timeline here. So Amash, says Trump should be impeached, switches parties, sucks CNN's cock, and then actually becomes independent and then actually votes to impeach Trump. He voted on one of the articles of impeachment. He thinks Trump is impeachable. He thinks he should be removed from office, basically. And then he now is saying he's going to run as a libertarian candidate for president. Holy shit, people. Do they learn anything? Now, there's only two things here. There's only two possibilities. Either Amash is a fucking idiot and thinks he can genuinely win, which he can't. Now, if he has half a brain, he knows he can't win, and he's doing this to be a spoiler candidate and to fuck Trump over because he hates Trump for some reason. And if he's doing that, he's a total phony. He doesn't give a shit about your freedoms and Constitution. He's just doing it to fuck Trump. It's just personal, whatever beef he has. And I posted on Facebook the article where he was talking about running, and I go, LMAO, what a loser. And I knew the libertarians would get triggered. I just knew it. But holy shit, libertarians, you guys need to grow up. I saw libertarians, and they're old and young, that were defending the shit out of this guy, calling Trump a New York Democrat, an unconstitutional Democrat. And I'm like, you guys need to grow up. Just because somebody isn't perfect and falls every tiny little thing you want them to do doesn't mean you shouldn't vote for them and that they're unconstitutional and they're a Democrat and all these things. And to go all the way to suck up to Amash, a guy that voted to impeach Trump, are you kidding me? This guy's our enemy. He's literally against right-wing conservative interests. He doesn't care.
Some of these guys are people. Some of these guys are people that hugged up to Yang and hugged up to
what principles do you people have?
Like they don't. There's not.
But we're libertarians. We're so principled.
No, you're not.
Yeah, you're not.
it's not. It's you. I like that Trump has moderate views. I'm not like
Yeah,
because
me
he's not.
too.
He's. I mean, he's stuck up for a lot of conservative issues, but he has moderate issues, and that's fine. Like, look, nobody like the idea that somebody has to be um strictly ride the party line. That's just it's not human. It's just not human. Like people evolve. People think shit. People, you know, they live, they learn, and they develop their opinions and ideas or whatever, and that's what Trump has done over the course of his life, and I like that sort of thing. Like I like how somebody is able to change and somebody's able to
Be open-minded.
evolve. Yeah, like the evolution of an individual. Like I just, it's just not. I don't I don't like when people just go, oh, I'm a R or a D, so now I have to think this way, this
Yeah.
that way. I'm like, look, you're not really
You're not thinking.
genuine. You're not you're trapped in groupthink, and you're not really a genuine person. Like it's okay. It's okay to think for yourself. It's okay to be
Mhm.
your own person.
Yeah, and the thing too is these these people I was arguing with a little bit, they come up with the stupidest reasons to support Amash. And then I wonder if they think he can win. I wonder if they genuinely think it, because I know one of the people I was arguing with isn't voting for Trump, and one of them actually, this one libertarian dude, thought Amash could win. He's like, oh, he just has to win 2 states, and then there you go, neither gets 270. Senate, Congress votes in Amash, boom, President Amash. I'm like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me? Are you
yeah,
kidding me? You think they're
yeah.
gonna, a Republican-controlled Senate, a Democrat-controlled House is gonna vote for Amash? Are you kidding me?
No.
Like, these people, I used to tolerate libertarians and be fine with them and respect them to some degree. And then I kind of just tolerate them. Now I am so annoyed with them because they don't realize the bigger picture here. They do not know how to play the game. They don't want to win. They genuinely annoy the hell out of me. They are so frustrating to deal with. And they just, oh God, they need to grow up. I can't put it any other way. It sounds mean and harsh, but it's true. These people need to grow up and actually play this thing seriously to get something done and to get progress. They think everything has to be perfect. And if it's not perfect,
Mhm.
then nope, can't have it, period. It's
Yeah.
baby steps. Nothing's going to be perfect.
Like,
Your
you're
perfect
never gonna
world is
get
an ideal to strive towards.
and this is a life lesson. Okay, you're never going to get everything you want in this world,
Mm-hmm.
but if you work hard, you make the right decisions, and you make smart decisions, you can have a couple of the things that you want in this world.
Yep.
Okay, and that's not a bad gig. That's not a bad life to live. um yeah, I mean, it's not very mature to go, it's all or nothing, god damn it. Like,
Yeah.
no, stop, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
look, you let's reel it in and work toward getting something positive, because if the other party has their way, you get nothing, right?
Exactly. And that's
So,
like what Alex said, like a vote for third party. If you're a Republican or you're a right-leaning individual, okay, I'll keep it broad, my libertarian children. If we're gonna keep it broad and say that a vote for a third party is a vote against Trump. You are helping Biden close the gap in some swing states. It's
mhm,
just simple math. And I told that to this one dude in the college Republicans chat, of course, who started coming out, who never talked before, and sees Justin Amash and starts going, "Oh, I love Amash. He's so good. Oh my God." And I'm like, dude, voting for third party is a waste of vote. They're never gonna win. You're just helping Biden. He couldn't see that, and he just said, "Well, I'm voting for what I believe." And I'm like, okay, you can say that, but that's not the reality here. That's not what's happening. I mean, that's good and all, but that's not what's happening here.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't understand politics.
No, they don't.
Hmm.
And then you always find out these people like they don't have steady jobs. They're they're kind of not really like I hate to put it this way, but they're kind of you know they tend not to be the most normal people. And I look, I'm not normal, but they seem to be living in a little world of their own, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
It's kind
Yeah,
of like the
their own
socialists.
belief.
Yeah,
Well, they're too idealistic, I think.
yeah,
And I think in any other country, I think they could coexist, but I don't think in America that really works.
yeah,
And that's the problem. If you're gonna be playing the game over here, it's like with Hillary Clinton. You're playing the fucking game. You know the rules. These people don't understand the rules and they refuse to believe in that.
And why
And
do
I
you
mean,
think Democrats and CNN love libertarian candidates? They love them. It's because they take votes away from Republicans. And then what I tell these people is because they say, oh, we're just giving another choice. Oh, I'm like, you had your chance. It's called the fucking primaries. Like Rand Paul ran in the primaries and he didn't run third party because he at least had some sense in him to not fuck over Trump and take votes away from him. I mean, Gary Johnson probably took a few, but you had your chance in the primaries, and that's what they're for. And nobody wanted you, okay? Nobody.
that's what that's why I think the libertarians should actually do instead of going running for third party, just run the Republican primary.
Yeah, that's why I said work within the system. That's what it's for.
I agree with a lot of the views of libertarians. Like it'd be a lot better than going to Democrat, and it's a lot better than going third party. Like I think if we could reconcile some of that, because I'd take libertarians over the establishment any day of the week.
Yeah, I would too.
Like if we had someone who was pro liberty, anti foreign war, lower taxes, obviously, because everyone loves lower taxes. People like lower government spending. I think that would that's pretty much the Republican Party anyway. Well, I mean, minus the war thing and the Israel thing, but that goes without saying. Like, but pretty much they could make something the Republican Party, and I
Yeah.
think we go and you know unite the right over.
Are you
Oh,
using that
Jesus.
very?
Easy.
So to
Easy.
Are we gonna use that phrase again?
We're gonna unite the right. God damn it.
well, it's funny. You have
Round 'em up.
Democrats fucking hate feminism who are Islamic, and they can unite with all these other people as long as it's a Democrat, and they can do that. But Republicans, if you disagree on one issue, they will run third party. They won't vote. Not I think
Yeah.
it's we purity spiral over on the Republican Party more so than the left, and that's been hurting us election wise.
It's true.
And it's allowed them to gain ground on issues which, when I was born, I would have never thought was a thing. Like transgender bathrooms, like no, like gay marriage, like ugh. Like I would have never thought about that shit when I was, still growing up. But now it's the new norm. Like we give ground on certain issues, and some of them, I can understand. But like, if you go and take a look, like if you're a Republican from like the '80s and you go and look at today and you see a Republican, you'd think they're a Democrat, straight up.
Well, and I like the thing too is, I mean, the Republican Party's had to evolve and moderate for a while since they got wacky during the Bush years.
I'll give it. It's happened since the Reagan years. Like Reagan did a huge thing of amnesty. Like even the Republican that so many people look up to, he did a lot of really bad stuff. He did Iran Contra. He banned certain firearms, from being manufactured. He did a million illegal amnesty, which basically turned California, which used to be predominantly a Republican stronghold, into a Democrat haven. You know,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
runs deep.
well, and that's yeah, again, these establishment people gotta fucking go. I mean, the only thing I think that's even if I know maybe I'll get some hate for this, but if we were in an election, I mean, first of all, I would support a MAGA candidate in the primaries, like let's say down the road. But even in a general election, let's say the MAGA candidate loses and a cuck wins. I would still vote for the cuck over the Democrat, because even though it's bad, it's not as bad as the Democrat. And the Libertarians wouldn't do that, and some other hardliners wouldn't do that. But I would do that only because there's probably a lot of things that'll bring us in the wrong direction, but there'll be some things that bring us in a better direction. Some little things maybe, but again, let's hope we don't have to make that decision. We need MAGA candidates for the future. Only MAGA candidates. And you gotta go hard against the cucks in the, in the primaries, and in these, even at the college level, like, you need to expose them for who they are. And as you can see, these people are anti-free speech, pro-censorship, anti-Trump. They are so out of touch with what modern conservatism is. They just don't get it.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to my first point. I do wish that we had a better system to deal with this shit, because I don't like anyone being, with that, with net, basically disenfranchised. I mean, they're not really disenfranchised; they can vote, but I mean, if it's someone that you hate, I don't know. I get it. Like, if I'd have gone vote in the Romney election, I would have still voted for Romney, but it would not have been a fun fucking situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd be closing my eyes as I do it, but it would. You gotta make a decision in the end. Or I mean, if
let's say I'd be like a 60% supporter, not a fucking 100.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where, again, the left is smart, because they and it comes from their collectivist mindset. I think is they understand when the chips are down, unity. You need to unify. Conservatives are too individualistic and too stuck in their ways to ever unify. Except for Trump, we did that for the most part, and it showed people's true colors. But I'm already seeing some people in 2020, like these goofy libertarians.
I don't know. I think the Dems have their own fucking problems too. Like, you have your Jill Steins and your Ralph Naders that fucking.
But they don't take as much as the. I mean, the Jill Stein did not take as much as.
It comes in waves. For every Gary Johnson, there's a Jill Stein.
Yeah, but she didn't take anywhere as near as many
Ralph
votes.
Nader. Dude, no.
Well,
so
Ross Perot was a Republican.
Ralph Nader cost the Democrats a couple of elections. He did. Yeah, he had quite a bit of votes that would have steered some states.
Which elections were these?
Was that George Bush?
Oh, the 2000 election? Hell yeah.
That was a fun
Hell
one.
yeah.
I mean, I'm glad.
And the 2004. He was in the 2004, the 2004 election too, right?
Well, I think
that was Ross Perot.
Well, no, Ross Perot was Clinton.
Yeah, it was Clinton. 96. He gave it to Clinton.
That was 96.
After George W. Bush won, the second term, when he was going into it, he did very well because of 9/11. If 9/11 didn't happen, I kind of wonder what would have been, what would how the world would have changed. I feel like the coronavirus is going to be the same thing. After that, I wonder how the world, if this didn't, I feel like the world's going to change.
So the 2004, not so much. That was John Kerry was just a fucking awful candidate. That might have been the worst. I
think Bush was just doing so well off of 9/11. I think that was the thing, because people originally liked his response to that.
Yeah, he had a high approval rating.
Yeah,
united over that. However, after the I think after his mishandling of Katrina and the some other stuff, and kind of looking back at the war in Iraq, it's kind of his legacy is in tatters now.
Well, I will say, it looks like Ralph Nader did, I guess you could say, cost Kerry Florida. Maybe a few other states. I'm looking on Wikipedia here as quickly as I can.
Dude, Florida was it.
Yeah.
Florida was it in that election.
Yeah, that was the whole issue.
That was the big deal. If
Florida too.
If Ralph Nader doesn't exist, Al Gore's your president.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
God.
But that I think that might be the only time I can think of that a
No, because well,
left-leaning
yeah.
third party actually made a dent.
I mean,
Cause what's the is it Ross Perot? Is that the other one?
that was a Republican.
Yeah,
Like
he fucked it over for
he railroaded the Republican. Yeah.
yeah, and he probably had the most successful third party run, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. He had like I want to say he had like 8 or 9% of the popular vote that one year. I think it was the '96 election.
Still not even double digits. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, but still,
oh,
it was enough to.
It's a
It was
spoiler.
enough to fuck over. Yeah, it was enough to fuck over. I forget who the
He
fuck
got
it was. Bob Dole.
8.4%.
He's enough to fuck over Bob Dole and give it keep Clinton in office.
Yeah, Ross Perot got 8.4%.
Yeah, I knew it was something along those lines.
ever one election would have been in this, like I think during the Civil War, and that was back when the Republicans were a third party. I get to go that far back to see when
Yeah.
like third party usage would have actually been useful.
Well, that's when I when I was arguing back and forth with these goofy libertarians, I finally looked up to see like if third parties had won, and I had to go back like 200 years. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you people are so just if you're gonna be a spoiler, admit it. If you're voting for, let's say, Amash to screw over Trump, just admit it. But they don't, and it's because I think they genuinely believe they're making the right decision. I think it's cognitive. I don't know if I'd say it's cognitive dissonance, but I think they know this candidate's not going to win, but they're voting based on more principles. It's just goofy.
Yeah, and some of these people too, they have political majors, and it kind of
It concerns me.
concerns me. If you go like I have no like I think I took one poli sci class once, and that was a fucking joke. And I know more about politics than some of these poli sci majors. That's saying something.
But they're lecturing me. One of them even said to me, like, "Oh, if you believe." I'm gonna have to double check what he said, but he's like, if you believe that, then you have like terrible political instincts. I'm like, Jesus, boy.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he actually knows. So, I mean,
Yeah.
same about the American political system, but that's a game that we fucking play by. Those are the rules. You ain't changing that now.
You saw Trump winning when a whole lot of people didn't see him winning. Okay, talk to me about political instincts, something along those lines.
Yeah, and the shit we've done here with Turning Point, and the victories we've had, and the predictions we've had, and the analyses that we've had. I mean, it's laughable.
I think our political instincts have been pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah. And then we had that one dude that was lecturing us about Bloomberg, saying like, "Oh, Bloomberg was the qualified candidate." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
That person happens to be a fucking
Cutco.
So obviously he loves capitalism. In terms of capitalism, I mean like the fucking terrible parts of capitalism, the fucking scam companies. So I mean,
yeah. How's this for political fucking instincts? Okay, anybody? Okay, so last year when we had Sargon of Akkad come speak at Penn State, right? So had him speak. It was a good event, but when we booked the whole thing, right, or when you booked the whole thing, you
didn't want to be associated with that, did you?
What?
I said you didn't want to be associated with that, did you?
I wanted to give you your due credit.
I know. I'm messing with you.
I'm one of those people that I want to make sure that I hate giving myself any credit whatsoever on anything.
Me too.
I'm not one of those people. Anyway, I was digressing. Anyway, so got the event situated, and then the college Dems and a whole bunch of other buttfuck groups, they decided that they wanted to make a letter and denounce the
the hatred,
the vet, and they expressed such fit.
Oh wow.
Did we lose Phil? Uh-oh. Well.
Yeah, man.
And then there were two. I'm gonna find the part where he shattered on my political instincts, or whatever it was.
No, like it just infuriates me when you have people who, maybe they're not doing so well and they just want to go and bring you down to their level because you can see the forest for the trees. Like you're right about so many things, and for people to just go and shit on your parade, it's kind of sad.
Look, and I'm not
And
trying to
like,
brag.
you're basically fucking gaslighting you again.
Dude, I was gonna say feels like gaslighting. Yeah, I said in there, I said yeah, because somebody was defending Amash, saying so by Amash's oath to protect the he said the only reason he voted to impeach Trump was because Trump was carrying out unconstitutional acts. So by Amash's sworn oath to protect the Constitution, he actually tried to do that. So those are Amash's true colors, actually attempting to protect the Constitution.
Oh, bullshit. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants to go and enrich himself. That's why he's worked with CNN. He's a fucking Democrat. Like, honestly, though, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, how do we fight against the Democrats with their collectivization? How do we fight that?
We can dive in that in a second. I just want to finish reading off these quotes here, and then we can dive in that, because that was a good discussion to be had. So I replied, if he really believes...
Wait, what?
Oh, you're back? There we go.
I am. When did I last? What did you hear last?
You're talking about the Sargon event, then you cut out.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you finish then.
Go back into political instincts, right? So, the Dems, they create this letter with all these little things. Most of the conservative people didn't want a fucking thing to do with our event.
Yeah,
right.
So true.
They didn't want it. CRs. Most of these other, I think Yal gave support like way late into the event, right?
That's because of the person in charge of that.
Well, yeah, that's another topic for another day. But anyway, so we said, hey, I think we could use this to our advantage, right? And so what did we do? Right, we played into it, right? Mm-hmm. We were like, hey, well, look, these guys are look, everybody, nobody wants us to do this event, but we're doing it anyway, and so look, because of that, we gained more seats at the event. We gained donation money for the event.
Oh, ticket sales just shot up after
Yeah,
that.
everything. Like everything went up. Everything. We had attention. The attention went up. Like people just wanted to, we had protesters. Like we had crazy protests at our event. Like even the haters wanted to come. Like where other people ran away. Right, they used their quote unquote political fucking instincts to run away from the event. We ran toward the event, and that was the reason why our shit was a success, and all of their other events were fucking failure. How's that for political instincts?
Yeah, sure.
Right, you want to talk about political instincts, right? Oh, apparently Sean doesn't have any fucking political instincts, yet he's had some of the most biggest events, some of the most successful events, and here they are, they ain't doing shit.
And not to say, not to go and downplay too, you also did contribute a significant amount of work for the Trump Jr. event too.
Look, I'll be honest.
Not from you.
I'll be honest. When the news broke that event was originally, it was going to be Charlie and Candace, they called me when I was just secretary. I picked the date for that event. I helped them pick the room, and we were, it was going to be Charlie and Candace. Then when it broke that it was Don Jr., I think that actually just happened on Twitter, but. And then I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm just saying what actually happened was that they called me, and we got that event initially set up.
But this is a trend. This is a trend, though.
Yeah.
Look, these are people. There's people. Yeah. There's a reason why they call you, because, well, you know what you're doing first and foremost. But it's like their political, like these guys and we'll go into another thing too. I know I'm going all over the
Yeah,
place.
we have a lot in our minds.
Yeah, but like it's like poli sci to me is just not that useful of a major.
Yep,
Not
totally
it's
agree.
just not when it comes to developing political instincts or whatever. It's just not that good of a major.
Well, listen, if you want political instincts, go and work with a fucking representative from whatever party you
Exactly.
work. That's the same thing with really a lot of things in college, but like at
They
least
didn't even want to do that. They didn't even want to do that. Like the CRs and all
Yeah.
that shit. They want nothing to do with these fucking campaigns.
Yep. They don't want
if
to
you
put the
learn
work
about
in.
the political process, go to the fucking Leadership Institute.
Yep.
Take their like $20 class. You will get so much out of that 3-day class. Like I have no aspirations for politics. And you know, they kind of messaged me one day. I was already graduating. I went to it. And you know what? I learned a lot.
Yep.
There was a lot of stuff I learned there, and I'm glad that I spent 2 days, and it was probably two of the most intense days I ever had, just nonstop learning.
Yep. Same. I went through it too.
You know, I really wish people, especially conservatives, if you're a conservative, definitely go to those classes because they will teach you how to campaign. They will teach you how to do it right. If I would have known this, like back, during the Trump campaign, back when I was a college student, like I could have done, like it would have been really helpful having that knowledge.
Yeah.
I was even working to get them to come to Penn State right before the coronavirus fucked everything up. And I'm still going to make sure they come next year for everybody to teach them these important skills because they sharpen my knives tremendously. And the other thing too is, I know it's not popular today, but you need to read. You need to read books. You need to read Rules for Radicals. You need to read The Prince. You need to read The Art of the Deal.
Read your fucking history too.
I was gonna, yeah.
Deep into your history too, because it's like you learn a lot. Like there's a lot to be learned by previous shit. You know?
I agree with that, but I think if you want to get experience, the only way you can read all the books you want. You can take all the classes.
Yeah.
But you need to get experience. You need to go and do something like intense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to do all
Gotta
that.
Get your hands
stuff.
dirty.
You have to do it all. You have to do it all.
Yeah, work for a fucking campaign though. That's probably sharpened my mind about the political sphere more than anything.
Oh, yeah.
All these people who are poli-sci majors never worked a day in their life for the fucking campaign for anyone. Then they expect to just go and get granted something. No. You need to go and take your time. You need to go and work with a candidate. You can't just expect to be given everything.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I notice about these phonies, these fakes, these cucks, these elitists, these libertarians, socialists, communists, like all these people that sort of, I just call them not serious players. Or, they all haven't put the work in. That's the common thread I've noticed about them. They don't put the work in. And going...
Here's the thing, too, that kind of pisses me off. If you're going to run for, like, the president of the CRs, you should fucking have some campaign experience on you, especially if you're going to an election year. That's what pisses me off. You should actually be the person who knows what the fuck's going on. You should help people get those connections. Because if you're just some random dude who has no experience doing this, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tough. Like, I mean, I volunteered for the Trump campaign. I devoted my time. That taught me a lot of things. And you know what? If I came into it again, I would know a lot. I would know a lot more because I've done it before. I've taken those LI classes. I've seen it in real life. I've done both. And you can't really, it's both practice and, in-person learning. You do both of those if you really want to succeed. It's not something that you should do just because you want to put something on your resume.
Yep.
It's if you want to just go and coast through college, take another major. Like IST is honestly not that hard. Take something like that. Don't do poli-sci unless you're willing to go and put work in. And you can. Like there's candidates, local candidates, national candidates, all sorts of candidates you could be helping out. All 4 years. Like honestly, I wish I would have had a poli-sci major because I would have had a lot easier time finding an internship.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad, I'm happy with what I'm doing. But like, there's no excuse, and like unless you're just lazy.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of that going around too.
Yeah. Yeah, and like with the Sargon thing, that event was a lot of freaking work, and that's why a lot of people don't want to do these speaking events. That's why you can only do so many of them, is because they're a lot of work. But when you do them, the payoff is extreme, and I just have fun doing it. Like those were my favorite things, were the speaking events, and we wanted to do another one that, unfortunately, we couldn't do at the time. But maybe maybe we'll find a way to in the future. I really hope to.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the like again like these. I'll find the quote because I did pull it up of like what I was told on Facebook. Because like I don't know if you heard this part, Phil, but I was telling Alex. We were talking about Amash, and I was, bringing up the fact that he voted to impeach Trump. One libertarian says the only reason he voted to impeach Trump was because Trump was carrying out unconstitutional acts. So by Amash's sworn oath to protect the Constitution, he actually tried to do that. So those are Amash's true colors, actually attempting to protect the Constitution. And I said,
what fucking unconstitutional acts? Let me, guy, you should call them out on that bullshit because that is pretty much bullshit.
I was kind of like, I knew it just evolved into like a endless rabbit hole, so I just said, if he really believes in that hot take of his, then he's an idiot. No wonder why CNN and the Democrats love him, which is true, as we've already gone over. And I'm just going to say, like, if CNN likes you in any little way, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something completely wrong. And he replies, the libertarian, I highly doubt CNN and the Democrats, quote, love a pro-gun, pro-life, pro-constitutional candidate. Dude, do you fucking get this? This is so
They love
obvious.
Richard Spencer. They love whoever will fuck over the actual people who have a chance of winning.
They love ineffective people that hate their enemy. And if their enemy's Trump right now, whoever hates Trump, they're gonna love. When James Comey started, they love James Comey, or they hate James Comey till we started hating Trump. They hated Jeff Sessions till he started being a little anti-Trump. They hated Richard Spencer till he became anti-Trump.
Same thing with the brain cancer fucker. Who was that guy who ran for the Republicans?
John McCain. They hated John McCain. Yeah, they hated John McCain. The left hated him. CNN hated him till he hated Trump. They hated Romney till he started hating Trump. And now Amash is just the next character in this. Oh, look, here's this Republican that hates Trump. Isn't he so noble and brave and a rebel? And I then cited an article. I whipped a fucking article. Well, this is where my other libertarian pal said, if you think CNN and the Dems like him at all, then you're really, there's two reallys there, not politically inclined.
Bullshit, dude. Like, you're not fucking politically inclined. You wasted your 4 years taking that fucking major. Because if you can't see that shit, like, why are you even poli-sci? Like, honestly, you'd be a better fucking political scientist than half those fuckers out there.
And that's why I'm not a poli-sci major.
Yeah.
And then I said once he left the GOP, he went straight to CNN. They gobbled him up. The right loves people that leave the left, and the left loves people that leave the right. And then I whipped out a fucking article where I said, they also call him, quote, genuine and, quote, a rebel. The Dems will love him as long as he's anti-Trump. If they realize he'll take votes away from Biden, then they'll change their tune. I linked the article. And then my libertarian pal just says, doesn't even address that. And they said, and he actually does a little bit. He says CNN liked that he left the Republicans, but they definitely don't like him.
Yeah. So, but okay. So I have like my beef with the whole poli-sci major. My number one beef. There's a lot of them. It's a list.
Mm-hmm.
But the number one thing is philosophically, I just have I'm having a
I'd love to.
It's a confusion. It's a confusion of philosophy here because, like, you take a poli-sci to be able to look like a model human being. Well, why don't you just act like a model fucking human being? Like, it's like, yeah, that's a whole thing. It's like, oh, we're trying to look like a model human being or look like a better human being than your counterpart. And it's like, well, why don't you just act like a model fucking human being and you don't have to worry about shit like that?
Wait, hold on. I thought you took poli-sci to act like a politician, which in my opinion would be the exact opposite.
That's bad.
That is the...
Well, no, it's look like a model human being. No, the key word look, not actually be a model human being. Look. So that's what they do. Like, the whole thing of poli-sci is you're presenting this image like you're this model human being, and therefore you should be the one to represent the constituency, right?
Mm-hmm.
but
Our
it's
teacher's gonna be
bullshit. It's
politician.
bullshit, right? But instead, why not just be a model fucking human being? Why not just be a good person, right? And you don't have to worry about all that
You don't
shit.
need a class to learn that.
You don't need it. Yeah. Nobody needs a fucking class to be a model human being. Just
Well, I thought that's what liberal art, like the general liberal arts majors, more for that sort of enlightened, human being sort of thing. I mean, I know they're not necessarily, but like poli sci, I thought was always if you wanted to get into politics.
it is. It's funny. You would think that, but then I've met some liberal arts majors that are some of the biggest pieces of shit.
Well,
in the
no,
world.
they
Like,
think
they're-
they are. A lot of them just, they're a bunch of leftists who like, oh, I want to be this enlightened person, but they don't know shit about the real world.
live. How about live?
Yeah.
Go somewhere. Go outside the fucking country. Like, how about that? Like, I'm. It's incredible to me. Like, some of these people who talk about worldly views, or they talk about socialism, and they've never been to a fucking socialist country. Like, how the fuck do you know what would work here? Or they don't realize just how bad life is like being in a socialist country. Look up what life is like in fucking Venezuela, man. Like,
It's fabulous.
It's fucking fabulous, It's so fat.
On a diet over there, there's no fat people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
you know.
very, very progressive.
I mean, if you want a skinny broad, hey, go to Venezuela. I hear there's a bunch of them over
I
there.
heard flex work is very popular. People, they can get food. I'm sure.
They're so rich they wipe their asses with their own money.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing too is like my mom's a poli-sci major.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Explains a few things. But my dad always gave her shit for it because, like, people think poli-sci is a joke major. I'm going to ask her what they learned in that because I'm not going to lie. I don't even know what you do in poli-sci. I thought it was like you learn how to do polls and sort of maybe statistical stuff. I didn't
take a politics class.
They don't.
I didn't have to because I got a good enough grade on the AP test for history that I didn't have to do one.
I took one as like an elective, and it was like that class was actually pretty interesting. So it taught us about ideology a little bit, but I don't know, that professor is kind of a joke.
Well, the one thing I learned even in average, like it goes for any major. School is literally only going to teach you so much, and you're going to get your real experience in the real world. And like I've learned so much more about advertising, about communication, about persuasion, about marketing, about campaigning, about politics from getting my hands dirty in the real world. And if you're lazy and you just go to class and you get good grades or barely good grades and you're not really getting into the real shit, you're not prepared for the real world and you're not going to be successful.
Yeah,
Or it's
really
highly
makes
unlikely.
the value of a college education when you can. I've done this too. Like I went on an internship, and I learned more in my 8 weeks at my internship or 10 weeks, however long it was, than I learned in the past 3 or 4 years of college.
Yeah,
It's almost like back in the day when people had apprentice programs. If those made more sense than the current college paradigm, but I guess you can't make money off. I think for certain majors, maybe education, maybe engineering, I could understand the college degree, but I think it's mostly a money making scheme.
Here's the thing.
It's an HR issue too. If it wasn't for HR, I think it'd be fine.
If I was president or chancellor of a university, right? Or dictator of a university, and somebody went and told me that, look, if somebody did a dictator Phil to me and went, oh, the poli-sci major is one of the most useless majors out there. That fucking degree is useless as a motherfucker. I would print the degree in toilet paper, and I'd be like, look, there you go. Look, it has use now. All right, look. I mean, yeah, it's like probably the most expensive toilet paper ever, but look, at least it has a use. All right, what you fucking complaining? Oh.
Well, see, if I was the fucking chancellor or whatever, God Emperor of the United States, what I would go and do is, or like Emperor of the fucking university, I would make the fucking like most of the college courses be 90% like actually doing stuff,
I
like
agree.
internships or what's the other word they have for like the whole semester long ones that you can take? Co-ops, internships, co-ops, like that's all it would fucking be because honestly, those are worth more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Internships and co-ops, you learn so much more. And then the university wouldn't have to go and hire professors for a good portion of it. You just have them learn on the job. You know, you can still charge them because the university does that over here. I mean, you won't charge them as much, but you won't need to go and pay the overhead. Like that's what it should be. It's like 90% or like 70 or 90% like on like in person doing the job learning.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like 10-15% book learning and stuff like that. Because for most jobs, like unless you're a medical or something like or scientist, you're not really gonna need all that much book learning. It's gonna be on the job. As long as you know the basics for that job, like
Mm-hmm.
decent English skills, which you should have learned in high school, you should be fine.
It's funny. I go to Penn State's poli sci page and the Department of Political Science, and they have like sort of their on the homepage. They have like I guess a mission statement or what the major's about. It says whether studying election campaigns, government processes, or court decisions, political science is constantly changing, always exciting discipline. The Penn State Department of Political Science is a key player in those discussions because of its commitment to teaching, research, and service. They even admit it's like always changing, so they have like a back door out, of when like it becomes even more useless. But speaking
We're committed to selling bullshit. All right, go ahead.
pretty much, I mean, it is such a stupid major. I would never recommend anybody getting it. If you want to get in the political world, you have to know people. That's how my mom got into it. That's how I've gotten even deeper into it. And if I ever wanted to go somewhere big, I know people, and that's how you do it. You have to know people.
If you want to here's the thing: if you want to know people, you fucking have to volunteer. You have to go and
Yeah,
waste
that's what
your
I mean. Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Don't just go and sit around and expect people to give you shit on a golden platter. And that should be honestly, especially for that major, that should be a good portion of it. Like you should know like ideology. You should know some of these like how elections work, so you can understand why third parties are fucking useless. But like you need a small background, but that should be like 10 to 20%. It should everything else like you should be working your ass off during your running campaigns or researching like being a law clerk or something like that.
Yeah, and if these political science classes are teaching government institutions, government power, how the system works, then this guy I know should fucking know that third parties don't have a chance in hell, or else he's not paying attention in class or something. Um,
Actually, that's another thing. Is your schooling done now, or do you do your last final yet?
no, my last finals are due on Monday
Oh,
at midnight.
all right. Well, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you if you had like your fucking review of your college experience yet.
I'm gonna save that because we want to dive into that article, and I have something funny I want to show you guys too. Well, funny and kind of it's Penn State related, so it's depressing at the same time. I will prepare a review later because I'm about to collect my thoughts on that. But man, I mean the my first thoughts here really are just what a waste of time is the classroom. It is such a waste of time. I learned everything outside the classroom. I had so much fun outside the classroom. I met all my friends, learned everything I really wanted to learn. There's only maybe 2 or 3 classes that genuinely taught me something, and I'm glad I took.
See, that's what I'm telling you, man. College is a fucking scam.
It
It
is,
is,
but you have to
it is
do
a
it.
fucking scam. What's the word? It's not cabal.
Fraud.
No, the thing that the gas companies, it's a fucking cartel.
Cartel.
Like it's pretty much a fucking cartel because that's the only like this cartel with the human resources to get into companies. Because honestly, they could save. So you could save so much money if you just like, like if you interned at places instead of going to college, and you would know a lot more too. Because
Yeah.
there's people, you know, depending on your major, where you could like learn more in like a fucking week of actually doing real work versus.
Everyone learns best through experience. Um, I'm gonna post this in the host chat. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look, this is a meme. It's unreal, but it's real.
Oh my god.
President Barron and his wife toast class of 2020 via, wait for it, Zoom.
Oh, of course.
There you go.
It would have been funny if some figured out how to Zoom bomb that.
I was gonna say that too. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I think I'm gonna create a meme for that shit.
Please do. This
Yeah.
is so like this is
For
the
your money.
biggest like
Thank
kick in
you
the
for your money,
balls.
fuckers. Here, a toast to collecting your money to pay my ridiculous salary.
On
Fuck you
fucking
guys,
Zoom.
At least for my senior week, they gave us free ice cream.
you know?
Oh, we don't.
I mean, not that I didn't have that because I worked at the fucking creamery anyways, but
Yeah, but guess who doesn't get that?
dude, I'd be so like. I heard there's a class action going against Penn State now for.
Yes, dude.
Dude, you need to go and like get in on that shit. Because if I had your senior year, like my senior year was, you know, like my second half was, you know, kind of but my first half was great because Trump. But
Yeah.
like, I would have been so fucking pissed.
Dude, I'm looking to get in that. That dude is my saint. He is a
Start
hero.
have them hire like a decent. Where's the gun lawyer, dude? I don't know if he specializes in this, but he seems like he knows like shit.
It's
That's
a
on the
gun
fucking
lawyer.
buddy.
Oh,
We need a competent lawyer for this.
yeah, it's
Someone
cool.
fucking GoFundMe. I don't care because you guys got shafted. You guys got fucking.
Oh
You
god.
got the shit end of the stick. And
Tyler
it's-
Thompson, you are my saint. You are a hero for doing this.
Give his. We need to get him on the fucking show. We need to give
Yes.
that a fucking round of applause. Like this motherfucker needs to win. Like we need to get his ass to win because holy shit, what they're doing is the scummiest shit. And they're like, oh well, too bad, so sad. You know, you got a Zoom education, which is even worse than World Campus, and you're still paying out the ass for regular campus fees. And like, look at the summer. Look at the summer prices. They aren't charged. They're charging it like the same price for World Campus. So why can they do it for that, but not for you guys? And if I was living like out of state, oh man, I'd be super pissed.
You want to start digging into how this is an even less of an education than fucking World Campus.
It's way less.
My one IST professor, her class used to be lecture, activity, go do reading at home. That was every class, and it was stupid enough. But once Zoom hit, it was, let's talk about, let's just, talk shop for 30 minutes. Let's shoot the shit for 30 minutes, and then do an activity. It was literally her. She would even do it in her fucking car. It was like, this was unreal. And she would even talk about, like, stories about how, like, a bunny got into her home, and, like, they made it like the family pet for like a night, and it got lost.
Oh yeah, that's real good knowledge for fucking IST students right there. You're really gonna need to use that in the real world. To be fair, I had that fucking like lawyer guy who I think was running for like judge or something. I hated dealing with him. He like made us watch
Friedman?
he made us watch like a Friedenberg or something like that. And he made us watch a revenge porn documentary, and I was just like, fuck this, I'm not going to class. I think I hung with my girlfriend or something.
Well, see, then my professor, like in the last few days of class, it just got worse. Like we weren't even doing activities because it was we had to do a group project, and we had to sit through the presentations, and then for a final exam, the class before it, we were like at the end of it, the presentations, and she goes, well, as you guys know, this class is a bit different, and we're not, we do things esoterically and existentially. She didn't say that word specifically, but that was basically what she was saying. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. She's like, come to your final, but it's not going to be a traditional final. You don't have to study. I'm like, wait, what? So are we having a final? Like the way we had no clue what the fuck she was saying. It was so confusing. She then sent out she got one of her TAs to send out an email saying, yeah, don't bother studying. It's going to be easy. Just come to class and you'll do your final. It's going to be like some activity, an individual activity. I had more questions than answers then. And when we got to it, it was one of the stupidest things we've ever done. The dumbest finals ever. It was like, here are the Navy, like the Navy fitness thing. I don't even know what the fuck it was. I need to find this email.
Make you do the fucking Pacers. We're gonna like run for like 20 seconds and then, holy shit.
No. It was something really stupid. Let me find it. Oh my god. It was the Total Fitness, I think it was called. Something I never fucking heard of.
And this was for an ISC class, not a phys ed class.
Yeah, this is ISC, dude.
Yeah, that makes fucking sense.
Here, no, that's not it. I have the email somewhere. I need to dig in for it. It was a, oh, come on. Where is this beauty? Oh, do I still have it in my inbox? I didn't want it to leave me because it was such a weird ass, like, that class just got progressively worse. It was unbelievable.
So what basically was it? Did it make you like do push-ups or something?
No, it wasn't that. Let me find it. It was a thing where we had to. I can't even describe it. It's so hard. She went through like let me just pull it up. Let me just pull this shit up. Jamie, pull that shit up. I know you were gonna say something, Phil. Do you want to say something to take up the time here so I can stall?
Oh, dude, I can tell you about my fucking worst, like the most ridiculous final I ever had. It was for a philosophy class.
Oh boy, here you go.
And if it's above an A, you have to explain why you think you deserve that grade. Like fucking stupid, like hippie fucking final I ever had. It's just like write down why you deserve it. Like anything higher than a B. And I was like, okay, buddy. I went to every class to actually participate in class. So I'm like 90% of the students like, okay. Like that was such a fucking joke class. Like I'm pretty sure the dude was one of those types that go and like flagellate themselves for being white. He's like some like Lutheran minister, and he drove like a shitty car, and he complained that like he went to a like a nicer neighborhood, and people like tried to tow his car because they thought it was like someone was like sneaking in or something.
Oh my god.
Well, you're a cisgender white male, so there's no way you're getting an A in my class. You son bitch.
I mean, he just, I don't think he really gave a shit. He just complained about history half the time. Then my sociology professor, she worked in like Maryland somewhere. And I was at Penn State, York, and like that scared me because she was like go off on these conspiracy theories about like how Bush bombed Section 8 housing, and like she said this one girl like would be a good porn star because she looks like a kid.
What the fuck?
And like men like fucking kids.
Like a kid.
Yeah, she was so like, and I was like, the girl was like Asian and stuff. Like, dude, that's fucking racist. And that's like sexual harassment, low key.
Jesus Christ.
And you know, she was like, I mean, there were some things I liked about her. She was actually pro-gun, which was surprising. She didn't.
Whoa,
like
based.
Like she really didn't like weed. She didn't like Trump though. This was back in like 2014, so it was before they took him seriously. But I remember her like bitching about him, and like she was super feminist. But I got an A in that class because she was one of those teachers too. Because I remember I was studying for like the exams, and I'd go and use there was that like flashcard website. I was like, these are the exact questions word for fucking word. Is she literally that lazy where she's just like reusing?
Oh yeah, dude. I can't tell you how many classes are like that. I must have had 4 or 5 of them. Yes, I'm admitting to Googling for answers on the stream. I don't care because everybody fucking does it. I was using my resources.
Well, like I didn't take it like during class. I had no idea these because I think she only had like 2 or 3 like actual exams, and then we had some other bullshit assignment. And I was like, that's interesting that these are exactly word for word.
Yep, there's so many that way.
I didn't have to go and like pay like any money for this. This was just like that flashcard website thing.
Quizlet.
I was just to study.
Yeah,
like Quizlet or Quizlet or whatever.
Well, and the funniest thing too was I would find ones from other universities, like ones in Florida or Utah. They would have the exact same questions with the exact same answers. They all use this like same system, like it's a conspiracy, but like it's not.
They probably got back of the book. Like if you pay the $200 for the teacher's edition of the book, you could probably get the answers. Like college professors are some of the laziest people. That's why I hate like exams. Like
Well, they don't even. Here's the funniest thing too. I'm gonna read the instructions for this final I had to do in this IST class, but Sam Richards, who is this hippie sociology professor, had harder finals than this class. He actually made us do a final in class, fill out the bubbles, and turn it in. This is the final, and there are 2 paragraphs of bullshit till we actually get to the actual instructions. But here's the full thing. We've been working hard on developing our awareness of how the information environment is changing the ways we interact, communicate, and function on the job and in our daily lives. We've explored identity, privacy, and socio-psychological influence and the implications through readings, activities, papers, and presentations. The final presentations have demonstrated an examination of information and communication technologies in the past, present, future. And by the way, those final presentations, that was our group project. We were supposed to be using, because some of us made Kahoots during our presentations, for people to see the presentation and be quiz on it afterwards. And she was telling us to send in our Kahoot questions because they would be used on the final. Well, plot twist, this is what actually happened. For our final, our class will explore how we can integrate what we have learned into our daily lives. To do this, we will explore mechanisms to ritualize balance and how the balance can be encouraged in the information environment.
That sounds like
smoking weed while she was like working from home. Like that is some.
That sounds like some shit that a prisoner would say, like because somebody from prison that reads a dictionary or some shit like that while they're in the joint.
Yeah, in the prison life.
And then they come, and then they're like the justification of all this. Like, dude, you're fucking done. Now, I know you learned some big words, but you're still a dumbass, dude. I'm baffled.
I know.
I don't.
It keeps going. Remember, you'll be called on by your family and friends, not just to repair the Wi-Fi or set up a printer. You will also be asked for recommendation on digital tools and applications.
Dude, I have to do that all the time with my grandparents. That's funny.
And you will be asked to fucking kill yourself.
Well, they gotta make you like fucking do like tech fucking repair for people. That would have been funny. Like help fucking boomer grandpa figure out how to go and run his tablet.
I would have preferred that, like a troubleshooting thing, because that would have made some sense. But this is the bullshit 2 paragraphs. Now we're at the actual assignment. For your final, she starts off 2 paragraphs in a row with for your final or for the final. We'll actually get to it. For your final, we will use what we have learned to compile a list of applications or website recommendations. For the purpose of this project, we will use the I can't say it with a straight face. The Navy's Total Sailor Fitness Sailor 2025 to sort the topics. The components of Total Sailor Fitness are physical fitness, psychological fitness, behavior and occupational fitness, medical and environmental fitness, nutritional fitness, spiritual fitness, social fitness, and family fitness. She only defined one of them. All the other ones you kind of had to guess on. Directions. Select 5 topics from the Total Sailor Fitness. 2. Recommend an application that would benefit each of your selected topics from Total Sailor Fitness. 3. Connect your suggested application to each of the 3 topics we learned in class, which are privacy, socio-psychological, and identity. And then she gave an example. So we had to do that.
What? What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what was this class? What was the title of this class?
IST 431, the information environment. This is the class.
You're basically doing like fucking like Navy shit, like recommending stuff from the like. This doesn't make any sense.
I googled this.
I to the IST dean because that's some bullshit right there.
I googled Navy Total Sailor Fitness. I am convinced this doesn't even exist. I can't find anything on it.
I have a buddy of mine who just got out of the Navy. I have to ask him.
I don't even think it exists, dude. It's some bullshit. And the funny thing is, okay, keep in mind, this is the same class that had the privilege matrix and remember that shit I was showing you? What was that?
You probably don't ask, don't tell. What to do when you drop the soap. I recommend you put a fucking rope on it. Here's the fucking brig.
Yeah, this is the class we spent a whole final third on identity, on gender, on sexual orientation and how there are no women tech CEOs and how women don't go into tech. We spent so much time on that.
Worked out for Theranos. They had a female tech CEO.
Who?
Theranos.
I should have mentioned that. Be like, hey, this is what happens when you get a woman CEO. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, they kind of, it's true. Not hashtag not all women tech CEOs.
But the funny thing is, this class, it's like I told you, it was like we would read this shit, come in lecture, do an activity. We did more work than the professor. I felt like she even admitted she used the same slides like every year. We didn't learn jack shit. It was a useless IST class. It's a 400 level class. It's
Dude,
the top
like,
shit.
honestly, the fucking 400 level, like the 200 level courses were by far the hardest I think I've had.
Yeah.
Like the 200 level ones are a fucking joke.
IST 210, the SQL class, this about learning SQL and all that shit. One of the harder ones. Probably the hardest IST class I took.
Yeah, well, no, like I like that class. I actually learned something here, but like,
Yeah, you learned something though.
Do you ever do the telecom one?
I did. That one was hard too.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest one I took, and like the hardest part, probably like they made us splice like fucking Cat5 cables, and that was probably the hardest part because I couldn't fucking get it to work.
Hey, at least you were doing something. When I did that class, I was lucky my professor was super nice, but we were so clueless and lost in that class. I still, to this day, do not understand. I'm not even exaggerating. A sentence of that class. It made no sense. And by the end of it, he literally let us do open note exams because it was so confusing. But this fucking class, oh my god, this is some bullshit. I turned this in, but like, I literally think my professor was planning on doing a legit exam, and then by the end of it was like, nah, not feeling it. TAs, let's whip up some bullshit.
Yeah, no, like I don't know, like they say that like branch campus classes are less intense, but I can tell you what, my fucking IC the telecom one, that probably learned the most out of that with like networking and shit like that. Like that's something I actually use day to day. But like, no, that class that you just took, that sounds so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like a class and a telecom class. Like I wish I would have kept that fucking telecom book. I should have never rented that. Because like, I could actually probably use some of that, like some of those funky things.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screenshots of that bullshit that we were taught. We were taught about the matrix of oppression and the privilege and oppression resistance circle wheel here. What the fuck is this shit? I mean, I couldn't believe we were being taught this
into campus reform.
I should actually. I mean, this is the stuff we were being taught.
Like that's some shit. You should record this fucking Zoom meetings and just send it into them because they could have a fucking field day with that bullshit.
Yeah, that was my first Zoom. My first Zoom of that class.
You deserve a fucking refund for that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Baron.
That's not fucking right. They need to go and take a fucking hippy dippy class. Like that. Like you're paying out the ass to go and basically have some, like you could literally learn more off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I think like Princeton or Yale or Harvard or like MIT puts their like IST lectures on there. Like I've listened to those at work before. Like I've actually like learned some like computer programming like theory and shit on there. Like you can actually learn like there's so much free shit on YouTube. Like the only reason that colleges are even like making money is because they give you a piece of paper. That's all that fucking matters. You can literally learn more off of YouTube and other free resources than colleges teach you.
Mm-hmm. I'm reading this thing, the dude that filed a lawsuit. This is what the Onward State article says. A Penn State student has filed a class action lawsuit against the university requesting his and other students to reimburse. The lawsuit cites students were deprived of the benefits of in-person instruction and the true college experience following Penn State's closure due to the coronavirus. The student, identified in the lawsuit as Tyler Thompson, I salute you, sir. Filed the lawsuit on behalf of himself and all others similarly situated. According to the lawsuit, Thompson believes that Penn State's decision to move online, close campus, deprived him and his classmates of, quote, recognizing the benefits of in-person instruction, access to campus facilities, that's actually a good point, student activities, another good point, and other benefits and services in exchange for which they had already paid fees and tuition. He's a New Jersey resident. He believes that it was right to close campus and go to online learning, but thinks it was wrong, filing this shit. Penn State previously now not reimbursed students' tuition. Payments began offering appropriate housing and meal plan reimbursements earlier this spring. I got mine.
Give you all your money back that you didn't use for your meal plan?
I did.
Every single cent, or they like take a certain fee of that?
No, I did.
Well, good on them for that.
That's the one good thing they've done.
But no, like that, like, see, this would, here's what happened basically. So that would be like if you went to a rent-a-car, like, hey, I want to rent a Corvette. Like, oh yeah, sorry about that. We have a Hyundai Elantra.
Will you take that? Is that fine?
Charge you the same price for the Hyundai Elantra as you'd pay for that Corvette over there.
Yeah.
It's more convenient. You can go and put 4 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more fuel efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just pay the same price, and you get, you're getting a better deal from that. Like, that's basically what they're doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
And any other industry, they would be getting your fucking money back. But
yeah, sorry, we butt fucked you out of thousands of dollars. Here's your meal plan money back. Here, hope that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the classes, like on fucking Zoom, you're gonna say that that's anywhere near what you get in an in-person class, like doing actual labs. Like, what if you're a teacher and you need to get like in-class experience? That's fucked over. What if you need like in-person tutoring? What if you don't learn very well via fucking Zoom? Like, what they should have done is they should have offered you like, hey, if you don't want to go and do the Zoom shit, you can get a full refund and just stop now, or you could go and continue doing it via Zoom and you'd still get the same credit. Your choice. And they should have give you that option, because what you're getting is not what you paid for, because what you're getting paid for is lower than the quality significantly of the World Campus, because World Campus, they already have all their shit set up online. You can do it at your own pace, versus having to go into like in class for Zoom sessions. And then especially if you lived in a dorm and you were from out of state and you had to go and go into Zoom meetings at 5 a.m. for like a 12 o'clock class or something. Like, how the fuck is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much stuff, and they fuck people over. And like, I see on their Facebook page, it's like, oh well, sorry, life is hard. Like, nah, the university has billions of dollars. They can suck it up. They should at the very least reduce the price to the same
World
price.
Campus.
And honestly, it should be lower than that. But I think that's a fair compromise.
Yeah, and that's what he cites in the Onward State article. I found this dude, the Tyler dude, on LinkedIn, but I can't connect with him. I have to be a premium member. He's already got some status here. But let's see if I can connect with him. Okay, he's on Instagram. Is he on Twitter or something? I wanna reach out to this dude. He's my hero.
Get his ass on the podcast.
Dude, we need him on the show. This is where I miss the radio. Imagine him having him on that Penn State radio, just like shitting on the university live. That'd be great.
So needs to set up a fucking GoFundMe for this dude. Like, honestly, I wish that people have done this earlier, because that's bullshit what Penn State is doing. Like, that is unacceptable. Penn State it's like what, 20 grand a semester if you're out of state, or like 20 grand a year. How's that okay? And if you're taking fucking Zoom classes and your teachers don't give a shit.
I didn't even realize how big of a chunk this took out of our semester. He claims that due to the remote learning, students have been deprived of 47% of their semester that they've been contracted. So 50% of my semester, half of it, is gone. 50%. That's huge. I mean, I had so many plans, so many things I want to do, gone. And Penn State's like, oh, fuck you. It's still the same Penn State experience. We're gonna charge the same price.
Well, hey.
See, this is why I said they should have never put that gym fee into there, because guess what? You're all paying for now.
Somebody has to pay for President Barron's $855,000 a year salary.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, not raised up to $1 million.
Didn't he
Plus,
take a little cut?
what's
maybe.
up?
Oh, okay. He did take a little cut. I know he did get like it was raised to $1 million before all this.
Jesus.
And then he also gets like so much shit paid for, so much travel. Like I wish I could live that life where I could just go and drink champagne on a fucking meeting and say "job well done" pat on the fucking back.
Here's the thing. So, I looked at it in 2018. He earned like his base salary is $855,000 a year, but he earns over $1 million. He earns over $1 million in bonuses.
What? He's basically making $2,000. $2,000. I mean, 2 million. Sorry, 2 million. 2 fucking million.
Holy shit!
I think like a little more than that.
A little. It's getting late, and we're gonna have to cut this off soon because I'm getting tired. But see that champagne glass she's holding in his fucking wine glass. You wanna know who's paying for that? Fucking me. My full tuition. My full in-person tuition is paying for that shit. Look at all these books in the background. He's never read a single one of those.
Is that $2,000 champagne?
I don't know. Also, let's find the let's see if we can find this fucking like live stream.
Do you look so soulless? I don't know. I shook his hand once. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I was at some student leadership summit. That was like.
Well, did you shake when you graduated?
Yeah. Maybe I did too. Yeah. I forgot about that.
And maybe I did.
I mean, I don't remember that too much.
Oh fuck! Here's the recording. Yo, let's get in on this shit. This is 10 minutes, motherfucker.
Like, you should at least have someone speak during that, like someone really expensive normally because they'd be on coronavirus and nothing. They should have like fucking Robert Downey Jr. give the fucking graduation speech because you could probably get him real cheap right now.
Here's the recording. Oh my god, this dude made his background Old Main. Like, yeah, look, we're at Penn State, guys.
Oh man, dude, what the fuck? Like, he's just like the fucking. Like I gave him this. Like at least, you know, he probably handled the Sandusky shit all right, I guess, compared to the other.
It wasn't him.
Yeah,
it was Erickson. It was President Erickson that handled all that shit, right? No, he cashed in.
Mm-hmm.
Just a guy that like they hired him specifically for crisis management, but we'll see how he's handling a crisis manager in a real fucking crisis. Not just some like bullshit going on fucking campus. We're having a fucking pandemic.
And then the frat kid dying.
Yeah, like honestly, like I don't know, like fucking overpaid. Like I mean, with the football people, they pay them like $4 million a year, but at least you know they generate way more money than they're fucking worth. It's like a CEO.
Did somebody troll this?
Did they? That would have been funny. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude, that would be the shit.
No, look at this. I can't believe I didn't know about this live stream. I could have had so much fun with this, but I think somebody already beat us to it.
Your fucking graduation live stream? What the fuck?
No, this isn't the graduation one. This was a part of senior week. I didn't know this was going on. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't know there was senior week.
They fucked your senior week over. Holy shit.
Look at this. It's a class of 2020. Type your name. One person put Julius Caesar. Oh my god.
Put something racist. Oh my god, that would be so fucking funny. Something like really fucking offensive.
Michelle. Oh, it keeps changing. Let's see. I'm playing the video and it keeps like adding new names. Oh my god, I missed out. I would have put Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin.
Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yes. I would have put Carl though, because since he came here, that would have pissed them off. Because Barron condemned us basically. Like the Penn State admin condemned us.
That's how you know you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. I know who wrote the statement. It technically wasn't Barron. It was like I forget who the guy's name was, but oh my god. Let's see if anybody else trolled this thing. Oh my god, this is funny. Somebody just put like a bunch of like pound sign, exclamation mark,
penis.
Oh my god. Let's see if there are any more trolls. Julius Caesar, one got through.
Someone should have put something really fucking offensive in there.
Adolf Hitler.
Oh my god. Your ass will get expelled, you bitch.
What are you gonna do? Zoom, expel me?
Zoom bomb fucking graduation thing. Oh my
God, because they do this shit where here's the link, here's the code. Yeah, you think people aren't gonna share that shit?
god. Don't you have to like sign to your Penn State account now?
It might. Well, to be in the Zoom, yes, but this thing for the names popping up was on menti.com.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. I didn't know this was happening. I got no emails, nothing about senior week. I didn't even know senior week was a fucking thing till my buddy that works in the alumni center mentioned it to me, and he's like, yeah, I mean, you guys aren't gonna have senior week, are you? And I'm like, what's senior week?
Like I just remember going on campus and playing like beer pong.
Type in your hometown. Let's see what people put on here.
Oh my god, people could really fuck with that.
Aleppo.
So actually put that in there.
No, but I would have.
Berlin, 1945.
Penn Island.
God.
I'm trying to see if there's anything funny in here.
Showers.
I fucking missed out.
Pussy.
Intercourse, PA.
Oh my god, someone actually probably lives there too. That's a sad thing. I think I've been by there. I've been by Blue Ball, I think. Like, fucking places. They're just trolling. Like, I honestly never heard a good answer of, like, why these places are named like that. It must be, like, some cartographer, like, fucking thinking it's funny. Like, guess what? It's Blue Ball.
Oh, there was a thing where you could, like... Oh, fuck. Where'd it go? It says, who do you want to thank for your Penn State experience? Baron was on there for, like, 1 second, and his name quickly disappeared as other people put, like, my parents, my friends.
Government's monies.
Fucking Chinese for forcing me to do this bullshit.
Oh, my God.
Someone put Hitler in there.
What?
Someone put Hitler on there.
Who do you want to thank for your Penn State experience? Sargon of Akkad.
Goddamn Chinese, goddamn it.
Chi-coms.
Those fucking Chi-coms.
I would like to thank my wife for encouraging me to go back to school.
Aww. Your mom for sucking my cock.
Where are you from?
Wife's pussy. Eric Byrne, I fucking you fucking you do so much things you go troll shit out.
I would like to thank Eric Barron for holding me down and raping me like Tara Reid.
No, Jerry Sandusky.
Fucking me up the ass when I was a kid. Donald Trump. For Trump there.
Yeah, I would thank Trump. He made my college experience.
Put like Satan in there. He's gonna troll the fucking 9/11. And I learned for giving me this fucking GI Bill. Oh my god, put Osama bin Laden for letting me get a fucking
It put Osama.
Fucking, what would be funny?
Oh, fuck you, Baron. He just said, we look forward to having you back on campus. Well, guess what, bitch? The only time you're going to see me back on campus is in a fucking riot. Kidding. For the record, kidding.
We need to go to campus one day and just, like...
Fuck around. Oh, dude, I'm not done.
You get a fucking hotel room and just, like, dick around for, like...
Dude, I was looking at Airbnbs there. They're fucking cheap as shit.
Oh, yeah, because everything's
because
now.
fucking...
No,
Yeah.
I was looking in the future because you can look
Probably
like...
got some...
like in like later dates, and I don't know if it's gonna stay that way given everything that's happening, but
Yeah,
Airbnbs are
because the
potentially really
Airbnb
cheap.
is probably owned by some fucking Buffalo Bob that wants to finger your ass or some shit.
Hey, you
Bend over, goddamn it!
That Chinese exchange students experience with the Airbnb.
oh, really, what was it?
You know, like that Chinese guy that I showed you that one time. The one who like drank like the fucking like bottle of vodka.
Yeah, I
And he like
know.
played. Yeah, like that guy was telling me he went to like Airbnb. Like they weren't supposed to go anywhere like crazy, but he went to like New York his first day here, and like going to an Airbnb at some like lesbian's house, and there was like baby doll parts all over.
Oh
The fucking,
yeah,
oh my god, like,
that's like some Criminal Minds shit right there. Like, what the fuck?
When I was like a fucking kid, I used to go like kindergarten at this like church, and there was this like weird dude who had like these baby doll things like fucking glued all over his car, like baby doll parts.
I need you to. It's like some Butch Dyke too. Like, hey, I need you to stop talking while I listen to my Melissa Etheridge records.
Oh my god, Phil, you ever have like sour beer?
Fine sour beer.
It's literally sour. What's that shit? Sour beer, like it says sour on it. It's not like old, but like where the fuck did I put it?
I add that to the college
kind of-
memories. The exchange student.
Because I mean, they have a couple of versions of that shit, or like around the world. So like,
That shit is so fucking weird. It is the most fucking weirdest shit I think I ever. Holy shit! I got this like variety pack from Victory fucking Brewing Company over here. Holy shit! Some weird shit. It's like 10. It's like 9.5% fucking alcohol by volume, but oh
yeah,
man, it tastes fucking disgusting. Oof.
Uh-oh, he's doing the toast now. Oh, he has champagne too.
I'm not drinking champagne.
What can you do more?
Ugh.
What can you do better?
You can
And
like fun students.
we don't stop. And because of those three things, you will run the future.
Yeah, you'll run the future because you paid me by fucking exorbitant fees for Zoom fucking courses, which pretty much just like, you know, you could probably charge maybe $1,000 for that for all your courses, and just have them watch YouTube lectures. You'd be fine.
Oh my god, that's just so stupid, Baron. What the fuck is this? I want my money back, not some champagne that you can drink in your comfy little home with all your books.
All those books you probably never reads.
Yeah, that's why I say. Probably never read any of those fucking books.
I want to be so rich one day that I'll just have a whole library of books I never fucking read.
I'm looking out. Okay, what was my senior week supposed to be? I was start on April 27th. Coffee hour with Pat Chambers and Taylor Battle? What? Host by Paul Clifford. Tuesday, 10 Principles of Financial Literacy. Oh, I did do that. I didn't even know that had to do with any of this. Wait, I didn't do. I did that. Wait, no, I did that before senior week. They recycled something that they already did. Advice to the what?
What did you talk about in that class?
I record it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh.
Yo, I know this girl. On Wednesday, coffee hour featuring Fatima Odebesi. She was in my ad class. I did a project with her. She's the president of the Penn State Student Black Caucus.
Oh boy, I bet she has a lot of interesting things to say.
I wonder if she knew I was a Trump supporter. I don't think she did until after the class.
Not like a time during like Lent or some shit like that.
What?
Fatima, isn't that like a religious bullshit?
I have no clue. But she was very nice. Like, she's a very nice lady, but like I bet she was progressive. Very progressive.
Well, you don't go to the fucking Black Caucus unless you're progressive.
Barron's toast was on May 1st. Final toast with President and Molly Barron. Oh, I can't believe I missed that.
I just remember when I went there, like they were shilling their alumni association.
It's supposed to be wrapping up the alumni association senior week festivals. fucking A, man. God. I guess we'll have to save the gaming article for another day, but yeah, that's my Zoom. That's my Zoom sign off, people. And look, I I'm we were talking about, we do need to go back to the campus for like a weekend to like fuck around. It needs to, and I will try somehow to get, I really would like to do that one more speaking event because we work so hard, and man, that will be fun if we pull that off. Like after everything we've lost, this losing half of this semester, that was the biggest loss of all of it. And man, I just can't believe it. We've been dicked over.
Yeah, you guys got fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Some sad shit.
Jeez, it's just.
In other news, man, you hear that the fucking Intel's making the 10th generation, I think, of them processors.
Let's look that up real quick, and then we have to shut this down soon. Intel's new processors go all in on power and performance.
No, it doesn't. It's a fucking power. Like, yeah, just like fucking goes to 250 watts.
10th gen Comet Lake.
They've been on this thing since like what, like 2017, 2016. 14 nanometer, like fucking right, like the fucking AMD is like clearly winning, but the only thing they're doing right now is like the middle and lower tier. You can probably buy an i3 now and like run a gaming PC off it. So if you want to do like a fucking budget build, go ahead with Intel.
With the face when Intel's the budget brand now.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking true. Like, dude, look at the stats have been going out there, man. Like, they're literally still the same shit. You get like, I think the i9 is now like maybe 10 cores or some shit like that, or like 12. Like it's still the same like fat 14 nanometer fucking process.
Intel tweets photo of the biggest and weirdest GPU ever made.
Oh, that's another thing. They're making their own GPUs now, and that will be interesting. But in the CPU market, they're getting fucked. Like, I mean, I'm glad that someone's doing competition to them because like now, you know, it's really benefiting the customers. Like I don't really care for, like I don't own AMD, but you know I can see the benefit of having that because without competition, it's like same thing with the Epic Games Store. Like I don't really fucking use them other than for free games, and they're Chinese, so I don't really care. But like, you know, now with them, like fucking Steam finally has competition. Like before AMD took place, like you're running off like 2 fucking cores, and you're paying ass for it. Now it's like, oh boy, like there actually is serious competition. They're not like AMD's no longer just like the shit bin. They're more advanced than Intel by pretty much every margin. Like the only thing that Intel has is they have like slightly higher like clock speeds, but they have like way less cores, and they're getting like inefficient with their power delivery.
Did you see Jay's video on it yet?
I don't know if I saw that one.
He of course, this is like Jay's fucking wheelhouse. He made a video on the new Intel processors. I haven't seen it yet. I'm seeing if he said anything on Twitter, but he did.
Saw the Nexus on there, and like, man, Intel's just like lagging behind.
That's
like the
crazy.
only is like their lower end is like they've switched. They switched sides with like AMD now. Like they're fucking their lower ends getting decently priced, where you could like run a gaming rig off like an i5 or even an i3 now without having much issues. Because they're like, I think they're even like allowing i5s to overclock, which is unlike Intel. But yeah, man, if you want to go buy a gaming PC, now's the fucking time. You know, Sean, kind of do PC build.
Dude, I need a job first.
Run that fucking Call of Duty, man. Do some Call of Duty streaming before it gets old news.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, update on that. Call of Duty Warfare can't even run on my PC. It's too graphics intensive, and you can't even turn them down enough. And we did figure out the mic issue.
Yeah,
it was not the preamp's fault. Because the issue was like this preamp. When I plug it into my Windows machine, it wasn't picking up my mic. It wasn't the preamp. It wasn't the computer. It was me. I had turned the mic off on the computer in the settings because of the privacy concerns. I turned everything off, and I forgot I still had it off. it's a
Shit, right?
it's a boomer moment. I'll admit it. It's a boomer moment, but
Human error. It's all right.
yeah, I bet that's what the people said about the Challenger. It's human error.
Well, yeah, but theirs kind of killed some people.
Yeah, I know.
But yours just pissed you off momentarily until you figured out your computer was a potato.
Yeah, you guys were like, "Oh, you bought this shitty preamp. Oh, you have this shitty computer." No, it was just me. It was the shitty human being behind it.
Well, that's the thing with like modern computers, though, is like so much of it's based off of the GPU nowadays. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have a great processor, but if your GPU is shit, you ain't gonna be able to run shit anyways.
Well, and the thing too is like, and I'm not. I know it's gonna sound like an excuse, but the computer should tell me that the mic's off. Like, if because
Usually it does. Like you have to go out of your way to go and turn it off. I've never had that issue because I never just
well,
disabled my.
it should be like, hey, your mic's off. This might mean why, no sound's going through. Because I've seen that before with other things. Even Zoom will fucking do that. Like when you're muted, it'll say, hey, you're muted. Like a message will pop up.
Probably popped up if you look at the bottom where their mic icon usually
No,
is.
I did look, and there was nothing there. Believe me, I was looking at that mic icon for a long time.
You can't just go and disable something and expect it to go and like baby you through it.
It,
If you want to go and do advanced stuff, you have to know what you're doing.
my Mac does it.
Well, do you disable all microphone access on
I
your
don't know
Mac?
if I can actually disable it. Can I disable the
Well, yeah.
mic?
No, you can't even do that. When you go and like start doing like
I'm
if
gonna check.
when you ask to go take the training wheels off and you end up falling over on your bicycle, kind of like what's going on here.
You can mute it. You can
You
mute
got
it.
your you're getting your manual transmission car over here, and you have it in neutral, and you start revving the piss off. It's like, oh, why is the car going anymore? It's like, oh shit, I forgot to go and actually go into fucking first gear. Oh, that's fine.
Oh god. Oh.
That's what happened over here, buddy. With Windows, you have to be smarter than potato. You actually know you pretend that you think that you know what you're doing.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That's what happens. That's why I recommend people do not use Macs because it puts you into this mindset where the computer will baby you through everything.
Oh god.
It turns you into a alpha male
Oh,
when you
does it?
do shit with your fucking computer. It teaches you. It's like the fucking that fucking initial D shit where the card teaches you how to drive it, like that fucking 80 fucking Treno 86 bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They got like it'll teach you how to fucking drive. The Microsoft will teach you how to like be a fucking power user if you do stupid shit to it.
Uh-huh. Well, speaking of power, and Intel, some leaks have come out about the new MacBook. I think for the 13-inch, it's going to implement Intel's 10th generation Ice Lake processors. This one tweet is showing it's got an i7, 2.3 gigahertz base, 4.1 gigahertz boost,
Holy shit.
32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabytes of SSD.
RAM doesn't matter. Like if you go like 16 gigabytes, like really, that's all you really need.
Dude, RAM does matter.
Yeah, like not really. Like I have
What?
16 gigabytes on here. I could get like it really doesn't unless you're like doing like
Well, that's what enables you to multitask.
you should be able to multitask on anything. Like
Well, okay, think of it this way. If you had 1 gigabyte of RAM or 2, let's say.
okay, if you have 16 gigabytes, unless you're doing like something super processor heavy, you should be fine.
Well, if you're streaming, don't you need RAM for that?
Yeah, and I've streamed like fucking Call of Duty over here, and I have 16 gigabytes.
Yeah, I do too. Or do I have 8? Or
Anything over 16 gigabytes is like overkill
I
for
think I
the
have
vast
16.
majority of people.
I think for the majority of people, yes. But I'm talking about like when you need to like heavily multitask.
Not. I don't know. I put like 30 fucking YouTube tabs in my Google Chrome, which I never use, and I still ran it. Like my processor was like not even like budget.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine can, like, because I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it can hold up things pretty well.
Like 8 gigabytes is probably the minimum for what you would run now, but like 16 gigabytes is good if you like it, unless you're doing something like really intensive, like rendering like 4K video and like wanting to go and do the preview shit like really quickly. That's probably fine for your. Oh, I think we nerded them out.
We nerd them out.
But
Oh,
like,
God.
yeah, I've seen that thing where it's like, oh, Mac, you can have up to 2 terabytes of RAM, which pro tip, you can do that with anything. It's just not really
Yeah, I
useful.
know. Look, I know there are diminishing returns, don't get me wrong. I think 16's nice, 32 is like comfortable. Like that'll last you for a lot of things for a long time.
Just put an extra like a RAM fucking chip in there.
Yeah.
Most motherboards allow you to go and just put those bad boys in there.
Yeah, yeah, and I know, and that's nice.
Well, I just didn't do that because there's no reason for me to do it, buddy. Better to have faster, like 16 gigabytes, unless you're doing like something superiorly processor intensive, where you're just like benchmarking to go and show your penis size. Like people go down the drag strip like, oh, I can get like 6 seconds, quarter mile, but I can't take a fucking turn. Those like Mustang fuckers over there. Maybe that would make sense for that.
Well, see, the good thing is with this new Ice Lake, it says this one article saying that it's a small CPU speed boost, but it's a big GPU boost. So Max might actually have better graphics performance.
How's that boost the GPU? The GPU is a
Well,
separate.
because it's an integrated one.
Oh God! So it's having integrated, like, so that's
Yeah, I know. It's not, look, it's not a good starting point. But what I'm saying is, like, for what it is, it's going to be better, supposedly.
integrated GPUs are like, what the fuck? I don't know where it's going away.
I know.
Sack.
Use a Mac, man. You'll warm up to it one day.
Like I've literally seen what was it, fucking Linus Tech Tips.
Linus, yeah, no. Have you seen his video where he said, he made two videos. One is, why, I think it was like 10 ways Mac OS is just better, and then another one was like 10 ways Windows is just better. You should watch those.
The fucking MacBook, and it literally like the thermals are so bad on that. It's like constantly running at like top speed. You can't even get to the turbo boost of the Intel.
I'm not gonna lie, I was watching a little bit of that. I don't know how that works. I will say for me, my fans only kick in like when we're streaming and I'm gaming. That's when my fans kick in. But other than that, it's dead silent.
Well, see, I mean that. Well, to be fair, some of that's just a problem of the laptop form factor. But like they really don't make it easy for you to own a desktop, like a real desktop, not integrated like bullshit desktop. Like I like having a desktop I can run my fucking Call of Duty game, and I can stream at the same time. So I got that fucking. I paid for that fucking bullshit over there. I don't have integrated graphics. I have a fucking some shitty ass RTX, but still leagues ahead of whatever the fuck the integrated would be able to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I want to go and change something, I can open this bitch right up, pop swap. And it's still cheaper than the equivalent of a Macintosh, whatever the fuck I pay for.
Well, I mean, all you need is $6,000, and you could get the new Mac Pro, right?
Yeah.
Or not the Mac, yeah.
How good of a computer I could get for that price.
Yeah, but even Linus admitted, like when I think he was comparing the iMac Pro or something. He said that like a good PC with the same specs was around the same price. Like it depends which Mac you're looking at. He said some of them are actually like in the relatively similar price point.
For the Mac Pro, he had to go and like tune out to like 16 grand before it was even like somewhat decent. Then he upgraded himself to get the 1 tera or like the 1.5 terabytes, and he saved like 20 grand off.
Well, then do that. Yeah, see, just do that then.
And he turned out like, see, that's the thing. Like the only Mac that I'd actually be interested in would be the Pro, and that's like 6 grand minimum. And even like when you get the bare minimum, it's still like god awful.
Well, I will also say too, I was a bigger Apple fanboy under, our god Steve Jobs. I know you have some feelings about him, but That's a new rant for another day. But
Like Steve fucking Jobs, he's the type of
here
person
goes.
that he literally like fucking ate fruit like entirely, and he thought he wouldn't stink because he was like vegan or something. Like he's such a fucking hippie fraud. Or he, if he could have sold cut, if he could have invented Cutco, he probably would have.
Listen, under Steve Jobs, Apple
Oh,
was a way better company. This shit like you're seeing with the Mac Pros, with MacBook Pros, with the fans and all that, and like it doesn't like go up to these speeds. That sort of shit wouldn't have flown under Steve Jobs. Tim Cook is more about money, 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 money. And I think a lot of the problems you see about Apple today, which I acknowledge, are mostly because of Tim Cook. There have been, differences between PCs and Macs in the past with Steve Jobs, but now that Windows has caught up in many ways and Android's caught up in many ways, Apple has kind of is still just treading water. And part of it is genuine, probably because there's just not much else to innovate. Like we're kind of at that point.
you could innovate. Like they've done some, like their iPhones. Like when they first came out, they were very innovative for the time. I'll give them that. Like honestly, their iPhones, out of anything, their mobile and maybe even their laptops are pretty decent. I'll give them that. But their desktops are absolute garbage. Like they are like value for money. You're not going to get that from a desktop computer. And if and honestly, like these days with the Android operating system, it's getting more and more better. Like better every fucking day.
It is. I'll acknowledge it, but it's still I still prefer iPhone, and like I said, I even heard like you should look into this. I'll send you this video about when Johnny Ive, their big designer who designed everything, left. Somebody made a video with a lot of insider information talking about like what it was like working under Tim Cook, and he said, the Mac Pro, their desktop thing that you like, when they revealed that, they said it was probably the first time Tim Cook actually ever saw it was when they revealed the bloody product on stage. Because they said
Wow.
Johnny was like showing him everything, like in the showroom floor, like about it, and he was acting like it was the first time he saw it.
I
Like,
don't know. Like the only reason I like that the fucking pros because at least you can change things yourself.
yeah,
Like the regular Macs, they lock those down to the point where you can't change it without paying a genie to go and like look up your issues or whatever and charge you like $400 to do like $100 RAM swap, something like that. And they like solder it to the board. Like they are anti-consumer. That's really
no, it's
no,
the way they do it. Like, because the reason it's soldered is to say, I believe, to keep it thinner.
no, that doesn't no that doesn't make a difference. They do it so they can charge you extra and make you buy a whole new one. Like see, I've my problems with Google, but they're compared to Apple, they're leagues and bounds above. Like they all like Android like ships stuff to go and help you. Like if you want to go and change out your screen, versus Apple where they want to go and charge you an arm and a leg to go and do
Well,
anything.
if you're under warranty, you
They're
can
not.
get it, for free. They'll
They
literally
make
just give you a new phone.
and they make like what was it upgrades or whatever to their operating system that'll slow your phone down.
Well, okay. Windows was doing that too. I'm convinced from when I on my computer upgrade like to XP, and I think even 7, I noticed it was getting slower. Windows was doing that. Apple used to never do that until Tim fucking Cook, and then I did notice that on my mom's phone. But they had some bugs, the actual just bugs and shit. And that's changed. They fixed a lot of that, especially with iOS 13. It's a lot better, but it's stuff that just Steve Jobs wouldn't tolerate. They claimed they were dialing down the speed to save battery, which
Oh, that's bullshit. They want you to buy a new one. Let's be real over here.
yeah, I
Let,
think they were too. I mean, but again, this was a Tim Cook thing. That guy is ruining Apple right now. He's done good for most things, but he's ruining Apple's core, and I am annoyed with him big time.
well, it's just anti-consumer. They've always kind of been that way, at least since I've ever.
No, Steve Jobs. wasn't like this. And look, I know you don't like the fact that you can't change shit like in it, but like that doesn't bother me at all.
You can't fix it. Like, you know, it's
I'm
all well
not
and good.
gonna fix it.
Oh, I mean,
Like
it's not that.
I literally can't fix a screen on a phone. Like it's just not gonna happen.
I mean, with an Android, you could. You could go and look up a YouTube video, and they have parts. You go to like a micro center, purchase that stuff. You can even have people do it at like little local shops instead of the weenie bar. Weenie Hut Juniors go and pick your fucking iPhone that has like the red ring of death or whatever. You know,
Oh god, the red ring of death. That's for Xboxes.
close enough. Yeah, they have what was it, the green screen of death or
Yeah, but
whatever.
they do that. They replace that for free. Now some with their OLED displays. I haven't had a single problem with an Apple display. My laptop
Like
display is beautiful. I love it.
I've had an iPod Touch before, and you know it was all right, but what I paid for that, you know, it just doesn't like what I'm paying for. It just doesn't make sense.
Not
I mean,
everything's about price, darling.
yes, it is. Like
No,
it's
see, that's where we're different. You look at just price. I'm looking at the value I get.
performance. So you know, I could go and get a Samsung. Like my brother, you know, he used to be an iPhone fanboy. You know what? He switched and he got a Samsung, and he saved a. You know, it was cheaper than the iPhone X, and the performance was significantly better.
Dude,
Like
the
maybe like
performance isn't there. Look, they're all these phones are fucking fast. The difference for me is the ecosystem. The integration between my computer and my phone is seamless and unlike anything else. I can take calls on my computer. I can answer texts on my computer. If I'm
I
on a
can
web page on my phone, it's automatically ready. I can just a few taps away bring it up on my computer if I want. I can copy something on my phone and paste it on my computer.
I could probably figure out a way to go and do that on
Yeah,
my
you have to
computer.
figure it out. That's the thing. You have to do all these extra steps and waste a bunch of time. It's out of the box.
I could post in a Discord like it's one app.
Yeah,
Like I could
yeah,
copy
that's an extra step. These have no extra steps.
and the amount of money that extra step costs. You know, to go and eliminate that extra step, I'm paying $600, an extra $600 or whatever. And then if anything breaks, like I've used those services before. And I had to go and pay for an Android computer, and I don't like. I mean, I have a laptop. I never use it. I like my desktop. You know, so I'd have to go and pay for a Mac desktop, which I don't know what the minimum price for that is, but I can assure you it's probably not cheap. What's the minimum? What's the cheapest Mac desktop that they have?
I think it's like, well, that would be the Mac Mini, which is like 700, 800, I think. Let me check.
$800 for something that cannot game to the level of my
Well,
expectation.
because you just said the cheapest one. If you're gonna get the cheapest one, you're not gonna get like gaming performance.
What is the game? What is the Mac gaming desktop? Like
800 is the cheapest. Okay, if you'd be looking at, let's say, the iMac Pro.
Pro, and then like dual boot Windows into that, which you can do, but
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be. Yeah, I'd be paying like $6,000 to do what I do for significantly less. And I even went for an expensive one. I paid fucking Cyber Power PC, which I'll never do again because their customer support is probably the worst I've ever seen. But you know, I could have built it myself. And honestly, if it wasn't for you know the fucking Budweiser virus or whatever, I would have fucking done that.
the Budweiser virus. Oh god. Well, speaking of the Budweiser virus, we're gonna close this episode of Real News Quarantine because it's getting late. We'll see you guys later. Buy a Mac, you'll love it. Thank you for listening or watching. Have a nice day, and please, as always, wash your fucking hands.
Wash your ass.